Chapter 1603. Lin Xian felt that it was a little too amazing. Was his luck really that good? He was originally alone. Now that there were thousands of people, of course Lin Xian felt comfortable. But sister, what are you doing here? You don't have to come. Lin Xian looked at Lu Qingzhu helplessly and said, I told you, there are very few opportunities to gain experience. This is a rare opportunity to gain experience. Moreover, I was one of the warriors who came to explore last time. Why can't I come? But you. Didn't you say you were friends? Didn't you say you would go back tomorrow? What are you doing here? Lu Qingzhu looked at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. Lin Xian shrugged helplessly and said, Okay, I won't argue with you. What's the situation now? Lu Qingzhu said, Kunlun Mountain Wudong Sect, Mount Amei, and all the other forces have sent experts to investigate this matter. Didn't they say they failed before? Why are they here again? Lin Xian asked. I told you because we want to completely understand the current situation on Earth. And this tomb is obviously the best place to tell us the answer. Although it may be very dangerous, with so many people here, we have to figure out these things. Only by figuring out these things can we make more correct countermeasures. Lu Qingzhu said. What about those people? Lin Xian saw many young people. They are here to gain experience, or rather, many of them are here for treasures. Oh, Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. After all, this is the tomb of King Zhou of Shang. Whether he is dead or not, when he has to enter here to die or sleep, he will definitely bury all his treasures, spiritual weapons, and so on in the tomb with him. At that time, with the status of King Zhou of Shang, the treasures must be extremely exaggerated and powerful. Therefore, although this place is dangerous, it may also be an opportunity for some warriors. The treasures inside may be even stronger than the powerful spiritual weapons like Kunlun Mountain. Lin Xian said. In a word, they are greedy. I don't think so. This should be a very normal situation, right? As for greed, I can only say that I'll see how far I can go after I enter. Lu Qingzhu said. It's a good thing. With so many people with me, at least it won't be that dangerous. Lin Xian shrugged. So, why did you come here for no reason? Lu Qingzhu was really strange. Furthermore, Lin Xian didn't come across him by accident. He had locked onto this place with a clear goal in mind. This was very strange. I'm also here to look for something. Sai, you don't understand. Lu Qingzhu rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Then let's go take a look first. Yes. Then the two of them walked over. Brother Lin. A figure spotted Lin Xian. Ha, Master Wuxin, I didn't expect to see you here. Lin Xian smiled and patted him on the back. Ba. I'm really happy to see Brother Lin here. Master Wuxin put his palms together and said with a smile. Master Wuxin, what are you doing here? Ba, for the sake of all living beings in the world, it's best to come over. Moreover, this poor monk has the power of spatial attributes, and can also be a member of the escort team. Is Brother Lin the same? Lin Xian laughed and said, That's not it. I'm not as magnanimous as Master Wuxin. It's purely for myself. Ba, it doesn't matter. It's just that it's said to be extremely dangerous inside. We still need to cooperate and help each other. Master Wuxin said. Lin Xian nodded. That's not a problem, but I'm afraid that some people won't want to cooperate with him. Understood. Master Wuxin naturally understood what Lin Xian meant. A person's heart was the most difficult thing in the world to understand. After entering, not only did they have to guard against the dangers inside, but they also had to guard against the people around them. Then, we can be very good partners. Master Wuxin smiled. Of course, Lin Xian nodded with a smile. Ba. On the other side, many people also saw Lin Xian's arrival. This Lin Xian is here too. Duan Lingxiao's eyes narrowed. Duan Lingxiao did not intend to come here. What was the point? He used all his skills to kill Lin Xian. Wouldn't that be better than anything else? However, he had also heard some rumors about this earth. He knew that the person buried in this tomb was a powerhouse who was similar to a sealing existence. He felt that he might not be any weaker than the powerhouses on Sky Blue Planet. The treasures here might not be any worse than the top-grade spiritual weapons on Sky Blue Planet. If he could obtain them, the benefits would be unimaginable. Moreover, if he brought them back to Sky Blue Planet, it would be a spiritual weapon that those people could not understand or recognize. It would definitely be a trump card. Moreover, he now had the spatial attribute and had advanced to the domain realm. He did not believe that nothing would happen if he wasted a day or two, right? There were so many people here. If he really could not handle it, he could just slip away. Until he saw Lin Xian. Lin Xian was here too. According to his thoughts, since Lin Xian was also here, he might kill Lin Xian here. Secondly, even if he could not kill Lin Xian, since Lin Xian was here, it meant that there was indeed something good here. Originally, after returning, he was prepared to kill Lin Xian. Then he heard Xianyuan Qingtian's call. It seemed that he wanted to kill Lin Xian as well. He felt that it was strange. Was it because Morongyu was taken away by Lin Xian that Xianyuan Qingtian was furious? It could be. Then he would be happy. However, in the past few days they realized that they had completely lost track of Lin Xian. They did not expect him to appear here. Then, Duan Lingxiao quickly called Xianyuan Qingtian and told him about the situation. What? Lin Xian went to DX Science tomb? Duan Lingxiao nodded. Yes, he's not far from me. I'm here to try my luck and see if I can find any treasures. Big brother Xianyuan, are you coming? Xianyuan Qingtian said. I won't be coming. Unfortunately, it's not suitable to fight in DX Science tomb. Firstly, no one knew the terrain of DX Science tomb. Secondly, there were many experts accompanying them, who knew if there would be a chance to make a move. It was better not to alert the enemy. Normally, Xianyuan Qingtian would come, but that was DX Science tomb. Although so many experts had come, Xianyuan Qingtian was cautious by nature. Everyone knew that there was a high risk of death in such a place, so he definitely would not come. Keep an eye on him, Xianyuan Qingtian said. Yes, I understand. Chapter 1604. At this moment, Lin Xian and Lu Qingzhu stood behind the crowd and looked at the situation in front of them. There were really a lot of people. After all, the X-Science tomb was rather special. Moreover, the experts who entered this time represented the entire martial arts world, the entire Earth, and even the survival of Earth. They might even only have one chance. Therefore, the number of experts who came this time was much more than they had imagined. The Dongfang family, the Xianyuan family, Kunlun Mountain, the Wudong sect, the Shaolin Temple, and even some old fellows who had not appeared for decades had come. What's the situation now? Why aren't we going in? Lin Xian asked. Master Wuxin said. Ba. There seems to be some problems. Previously, some seniors had already entered, but now when we rushed over, we found that the entrance that was originally open was closed. We don't know if it was closed by itself or because of someone inside. Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. There's such a thing? Yes, so now those seniors are trying to see what's going on. This way, they will feel a little more at ease when they enter. Lu Qingzhu said. Lin Xian nodded and then opened his eye of cave spirit. What a guy! He wouldn't have noticed it if he hadn't opened it. Once he opened it, the scene before him was a little exaggerated. What was going on? It was quite an exaggerated scene. The surroundings were surrounded by an exaggerated amount of heaven and earth spirit energy. The heaven and earth spirit energy was indeed coming from this entrance, and the entrance seemed to be underground. Moreover, the heaven and earth spirit energy was not simple. It was mixed with a special aura. Because of this eye of cave spirit, Lin Xian felt that he should have the greatest advantage in this Emperor X-Science tomb. In any case, Lin Xian was sure that there was supreme nether glowing grass here. If he could reach that place alive, he should be able to obtain it. From the looks of it, there were so many top experts here, and even those old monsters who had existed for a long time. Therefore, Lin Xian felt that if he was a little selfish, he should at least be able to obtain the supreme nether glowing grass. However, Lin Xian could not be selfish. What would Earth be like in the future? The situation seemed to be very dangerous. Lin Xian would not be able to stay on Earth for the time being. This meant that Lin Xian would not be able to protect those he loved on Earth. When the time came, Earth would have to rely on these people. Moreover, at the very least, what they had shown so far was not that they had entered DXIAN's tomb for personal gain. They were there to explore DXIAN's tomb and protect the people of the world and Earth. Therefore, Lin Xian would definitely do his best to protect these people. Of course, there were exceptions. Everyone. At this time, an expert shouted, and everyone's eyes turned to look. Now that the entrance to DXIAN's tomb has been reopened, after entering DXIAN's tomb, everyone will advance together according to your sex, families and forces. The top experts of Shaolin Temple and some of our warriors will lead the charge and bring up the rear for you. Everything in DXIAN's tomb is unknown, but it is obviously extremely dangerous. I hope that we can protect ourselves and everyone. After entering DXIAN's tomb, I hope that everyone will listen to orders and not act blindly. Everyone will act together. Kun Lunzi nodded and said, "That's right. This time, we are not going to chase each other for treasures. Our priority is to protect ourselves and others. Therefore, we will not move in batches for the sake of progress. No matter what, under normal circumstances, we will move together. This way, we can effectively protect everyone's safety. I also hope that everyone will cooperate with us. No one knows the danger inside, but it is unimaginable. Alright, now please get ready. We are ready to enter DXIAN's tomb." Everyone gathered there. How do we do it? Lu Qingzhu looked at Lin Xian. For some reason, she relied on Lin Xian. Although this person was not old, he made her feel safe. What else can we do? Let's follow them. Lin Xian said. Okay. Then Lin Xian and the others entered DXIAN's tomb together as the members of the middle section. The front was undoubtedly the most dangerous, so they had to let the experts of Shaolin Temple be at the front. This was because they had the golden bell shield and iron skin shirt. If they encountered extreme danger, they would be the safest. Of course, this was relative to the others. After entering DXIAN's tomb, Lin Xian opened his eye of cave spirit the entire time. In fact, Lin Xian could already tell that it was not ordinary from the place he entered. Where? Space. F***ck. Other people's tombs had tunnels. Although DXIAN's tomb also had tunnels, wasn't this tunnel a little too big? Thousands of them entered the tomb and walked forward together. They did not even feel crowded. It was too exaggerated. Therefore, Lin Xian also dared to guess. Why did they have to make such a big fuss? Was it just because they had so much money? No. Lin Xian did not think that was the case. Perhaps it was because there were too many people who had entered DXIAN's tomb. It could be on the scale of hundreds of thousands or millions. Then the tunnels that were built were also very huge. This was Lin Xian's guess. Perhaps many people had the same guess. Because of this guess, everyone felt even more uneasy. However, Lin Xian and the others did not notice anything amiss. Lin Xian did not notice anything either. However, under Lin Xian's eye of cave spirit, he could see that the deeper they went, the denser the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. This was not a secret. He believed that these experts could sense it as well. Then they arrived at a huge space. This space did not seem to be anything special. Everyone stopped for a moment. Everyone stopped in this space. At present, they had not encountered anything. Monsters, demon beasts, humans, zombies, or anything else. In any case, there was nothing abnormal. If they had to say something, it would be that they had encountered corpse puppets. Perhaps corpse puppets were very terrifying to ordinary people, especially groups of corpse puppets. However, to martial artists like them, no matter how many there were, they could burn them all with a casual martial technique. Previously, we came to this place and couldn't find the way anymore. This time it's still here. That's right. Previously, we were also here. That voice came from the void. This also tells us that there's actually a path after this. As for how to find this path, we might need to work hard this time. It shouldn't be a problem. Last time, we were afraid of that voice and didn't look for it properly. This time, we'll look for it properly. Chapter 1605. Just as everyone was preparing to search, a voice came from all directions. They didn't know which direction it came from, but they felt that it was coming from all directions. Get out! Otherwise die. Everyone looked in all directions. Those who had experienced this last time might not have been so flustered, but those who had not experienced it before were truly afraid. Lin Xian frowned and scanned his surroundings. Get out! Anyone who takes another step forward will be killed without mercy. That voice came. At first, Lin Xian thought that it might be a recording, but later on he realized that it didn't seem like it. This voice was mixed with a tone. Of course, a recording could also have a tone, but Lin Xian felt that it didn't seem like it. Of course, this was only Lin Xian's intuition. However, there was a repeat of a sentence, and after that, the voice completely disappeared. Lin Xian felt that it was similar to a recording. It's the same again. Everyone, do you remember what this voice said the last time we came in? Was it the same as now? If so, it means that the source of this voice might be a spiritual artifact similar to a recording. This voice is just something used to deter us. An expert said. I feel like it's really like a recording. If I remember correctly, it was like this last time. Well, that's just deliberately mystifying. However, everyone, don't let your guard down. This also means that there is indeed something inside. Everyone, can you find any traces of mechanisms? Lin Xian opened his eye of cave spirit and took a look. There were mechanisms, but they did not encounter any other mechanisms along the way. Those that they encountered were of little use to martial artists like them. Lin Xian did not see any hidden doors, so Lin Xian was sure that this was the only way out. Therefore, as long as there was a way out, there must be a mechanism here. As expected, the mechanism was not in their line of sight. Instead, it was on a wall high up in the sky. This also meant that the person who built DXion's tomb, or rather, the owner of DXion's tomb, did not want anyone to discover this place. That was the problem. Since he did not want to be discovered, why did he create such a huge tomb? From Lin Xian's point of view, there were two reasons. Or rather, Lin Xian knew of two reasons. First, if the place was big, then there must be a big use for it. For example, garrisoning troops. Secondly, the place was huge. He could use all sorts of favorable conditions or structures to turn the entire DXion's tomb into something like an array formation. He could achieve a certain goal. As long as the owner of DXion's tomb was here, it would definitely have a miraculous effect on him. For example, spirit gathering. No matter what, even if you're in a deep sleep, the thicker the heaven and earth spiritual energy around you, the better the effects will be for you in all aspects. However, Lin Xian wasn't sure if there would be any danger if he opened the door to this place. Did you find it? Nope. Many people even touched every place. They touched everything in this space, but they didn't find a place with a hidden mechanism. Moreover, many of the talisman's effects are useless. I've checked the area and found that there are no traps. Impossible. How can this be? This is definitely the entrance that we just came in from. It can't be gone just like that. Could it be that there are other passageways on our way here? At this moment, Lin Xian said. Everyone, you seem to have forgotten to check the higher places. Many people looked at Lin Xian. What this little brother said makes sense. That's right. How could we forget about this? As the entire space, not only the ground and walls, but the walls above are also part of this space. We've already sealed ourselves. Why can't the traps be above us? Why must they be above the walls and the ground at the same height? Thank you, little brother, for your reminder. Lin Xian. There were also many who recognized Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, I'm just saying what I think. If you can't find it, don't blame me for wasting your time and energy. Of course not. Everyone, focus on checking the walls above. Be careful. Okay. Then many people spread out in the space. Lu Qingzhu stayed by Lin Xian's side the whole time. Did you find anything? Lu Qingzhu asked. Lin Xian glanced at her. Sister, do you think I'm a god? So many strong people didn't find anything. What can a young man in his 20s like me find? I just feel that your eyes are different from others. Lu Qingzhu muttered in a low voice. Maybe it was just her imagination, but she felt that it was really different. Others' eyes were full of confusion, but Lin Xian's eyes seemed to be firm and clear. Of course, she couldn't be sure of the accuracy of many things. It was just a feeling. Lin Xian was shocked. F***ck. This woman's intuition was really amazing. Damn, I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm going to send a message to my baby. Lin Xian took out his phone. Then, there was no signal. Seniors, I found it. There's a trap here. Suddenly someone shouted. Then he pointed at a place and jumped down from the wall. Everyone gathered at that location. Dozens of top-notch experts stepped on the void and flew up, standing there. Everyone retreat first. We don't know if there's any danger after this trap is triggered. Everyone, activate your spiritual power, and be ready to defend at any time, Kuan Lunzi said. Yes. Lin Xian and the rest also retreated to the back. Activate. When the trap was activated, a huge door opened at the top. It didn't seem to be anything special. Everyone waited for a while. There really didn't seem to be any danger. We'll go in first. Everyone follow. Be quick in case there's any accident. Those experts said and rushed in. The rest of the people followed suit. This height was about 20 meters. For martial artists like them, they couldn't fly, but they could easily climb. It was a forbidden area. In a short time, everyone left this space and arrived at a new place. The scene in front of them made everyone's mouth open, revealing a shocked expression. Why? They thought it would be a dark scene similar to the scene in an ancient tomb. But in front of them, it felt like a green forest. Beside them, there were trees and flowers. It was just a little damp. There was a bit of light. It wasn't dark, but it was very strange. The more it was like this, the stranger it was. Chapter 1606. Lin Xian was not the only one who felt that way. Everyone else who came and felt that it was very strange. What's going on? How did we enter a place like this? Yeah, I feel like it's possible if we entered a place full of water. After all, we're surrounded by water, a huge river. But this place is full of flowers and trees. Isn't it a little strange? Anyway, everyone be careful. Although there are flowers and trees here, there must be a reason for their existence. Be careful of illusions. It's very likely that there will be illusions. Everyone follow closely. It's very likely that there will be some changes in the environment. Be careful not to lose track. This place is definitely not simple. The experts reminded one after another. Lin Xian frowned as he looked around. Then he said, "There's poison." What? Hearing Lin Xian's words, those people were shocked. But after thinking about it, it was reasonable. It was very reasonable that there was poison in this place. Many poisons needed to be released by poisonous creatures of the world. Poisonous creatures of the world were usually flowers and plants. It made sense that there were so many flowers and plants here. Moreover, in the eyes of these people, Lin Xian was not an ordinary person. His performance at the martial arts circle convention was very shocking. Many of the experts here knew Lin Xian. Therefore, they would definitely take Lin Xian's words to heart. What kind of poison is it? Kuan Lunzi stopped and looked at Lin Xian. There were some flowers and plants here that they did not recognize at all. They could recognize some of them, but they did see many poisonous things. There are a lot of plants here. Even the most ordinary grass is poisonous. Lin Xian said. Is that so? They frowned. That's right. These flowers and plants are not poisonous. But because the air here is full of poisonous gas, these ordinary flowers and plants have been infected with the poison for a long time. As for the strength of the poison, Lin Xian sensed it for a while. It's not too strong. But I personally think that there might be stronger poisons in the depths. This is only the edge. Many people looked at Lin Xian. What? Are you saying that there's poison in the air? Why don't we feel like we've inhaled the poison? Someone asked. I'm more sensitive about this. You can choose to believe me or not. Lin Xian said indifferently. Of course, they chose to believe it. Even if they didn't believe it, they would still consider the worst-case scenario. In such a place, there was no harm in being vigilant. That's right. These flowers and plants are indeed all infected with poison. Even the most ordinary weeds are poisonous. An expert plucked a blade of grass and sensed it. Well, the toxicity is indeed not high, but once we are poisoned, it will have a great impact on us. Moreover, if the air is poisonous, our bodies will be slowly eroded by the poison until it is irreversible. Little brother, since you are very knowledgeable in this aspect, what do you think? They looked at Lin Xian. Duanling Xiao clenched his fists. Why was this Lin Xian always the center of attention? Lin Xian said, the toxicity is not strong at the moment. Ordinary antidote pills should not be a problem. What I'm worried about is what will happen later. Well, everyone take the antidote pills first. The antidote pills were a necessity for any sect, force, and martial artist. Martial artists were really afraid of being poisoned. It might not be life-threatening, but once poisoned, it would greatly weaken one's combat strength. If they were chased by experts, the consequences would be unimaginable. Everyone knew that in such a sealed place, or rather a partially sealed place, poison was definitely the usual method. Therefore, the antidote pills were a necessity when they came here. Everyone, be careful not to touch these flowers and plants. Also, be careful not to be scratched by the flowers and plants. If you have other long-sleeved shirts, outerwear, and trousers, wear them as well. Make sure to take precautions. Yes. Then they looked into the distance and said, according to this situation, the deeper we go, the stronger the toxicity should be. Lin Xian nodded. I'm even worried that there will be poisonous demonic beasts because this place is very suitable for those demonic beasts to grow. Moreover, I'm afraid that their cultivation level will not be too low. If they exist, the poison of those demonic beasts will be fatal. Most of them can't be detoxified by ordinary antidote pills. That's right. This little brother's worries are correct, so we have to be more careful. If you've taken the antidote pills, then we'll continue to move forward according to the previous plan. Be careful. Yes. Lin Xian and Lu Qingzhu followed in the middle. Great Master Wuxin walked over and said, Ba. Brother Lin has also studied medical skills? Lin Xian smiled and said, I've done some research. It seems that this poor monk has also reached a very high level. Otherwise, how could Brother Lin have discovered this before these experts? Maybe I have a pair of kind eyes that can discover details. Lin Xian said with a smile. They continued to move forward. Lin Xian also opened his eye of cave spirit and looked around for clues at all times. The plants here are so big. Lu Qingzhu frowned as she looked around. At the beginning, the place where they entered was still considered normal. Now that they had gone for about half an hour, they did not discover anything. However, the plants around them had changed a lot. An ordinary tree was probably twice as big now. An ordinary blade of grass was now as tall as a person. This caused them to have to come into contact with these plants at all times. It also caused them to basically destroy all the plants in front of them as they moved forward. Lin Xian said, It's so big. It's probably because the spiritual power of heaven and earth here is more vigorous, or perhaps because of the poisonous power of heaven and earth. Just like in the past on earth, a mosquito might be bigger than a person. This situation is more like that. Wow. Look over there. What kind of flower is that? Why is it so big? Someone looked ahead and said. Lin Xian also looked over. What the F***ck? The environment in front of them had changed greatly. They seemed to have come to some kind of garden. There were all kinds of huge flowers here. This kind of flower had an incomparably long root that was similar to the neck of a giraffe. It was probably more than 10 meters tall. A huge pink flower grew on it and hung there. Perhaps because the root was too long and the flower was too heavy, some even hung down to a height of only a few meters from the ground. The surroundings were filled with this kind of flower, but it was still quite beautiful. Everyone stop. Chapter 1607. The experts in front felt that something was amiss. Such a change in the environment, especially in such a place, was very abnormal. It's so beautiful. A girl reached out to touch a huge flower beside her. Don't touch it. Don't forget that everything here is poisonous. A combatant hurriedly grabbed her hand. Only then did the girl realize it and hurriedly took a step back. Lin Xian frowned and opened his eye of spiritual insight again. Then Lin Xian's pupils suddenly shrank. Not good. Retreat! Lin Xian shouted. However, at this moment, a blood-curdling scream came from the front, and a huge flower suddenly moved. It looked quite beautiful, but it suddenly opened its bloody mouth with saliva, and swallowed that person in one gulp. Everyone's pupils shrank. Man-eating flower. It's a man-eating flower. Retreat first. All of you retreat first. Whoosh! Kunlunzi swung the horsetail whisk in his hand. It grew bigger and longer, binding the man-eating flower. Then the flames burned along the horsetail whisk. However, it was useless. What? This man-eating flower is not afraid of fire? He revealed a shocked expression. Let me do it. A middle-aged man leaped forward, holding a sword in his hand. He slashed out with a powerful force and slashed at the man-eating flower's neck. Bang! What was shocking was that the slash produced a sound similar to metal colliding. Coupled with his powerful heavenly venerable realm cultivation, he only cut off a layer of skin from the root. Although he might not have used his full strength, it was enough to show how terrifying the man-eating flowers were. They were also immune to fire. Argdai! The expert's strength erupted and directly cut the man-eating flower in half. At the same time, he saved the people inside. Everyone retreated. The surroundings seemed to have quietened down. The man-eating flowers could not move. What the hell is this? Is this a plant-type fey beast? Do plant-type fey beasts really exist in this world? No, it should be a simple plant. If this plant was a fey beast, how many tens of thousands of years of cultivation would it have? It's just that it might be a special man-eating flower. But isn't this man-eating flower too strong? It might not have any offensive capabilities, but it was actually immune to fire. Furthermore, it was the fire of Senior Kunlunzi, and its body was as tough as iron. Then we're done for. If we're like this, how can we pass? It's still okay to pass. I'm immune to fire, but I don't believe that I can be immune to a lot of power. Let's just gather our power from afar and destroy them. Then thousands of experts gathered their power, but then something unexpected happened. Those man-eating flowers opened their bloody mouths and sprayed out something similar to pollen. When so many man-eating flowers were released at the same time, it instantly spread out. Retreat! All retreat! Stop releasing! Kunlunzi shouted. Obviously, this thing was poisonous. Moreover, this man-eating flower didn't look simple. Perhaps its toxicity was very strong. Everyone then retreated one after another. After retreating to a certain distance, they let out a long sigh of relief. Senior Kunlunzi, seniors, what should we do now? It's probably useless for us to take a detour. If we don't pass through there, we won't be able to move forward. Amitba. It's obvious that the owner of this place, the founder of DXIAN's tomb, wants to use this thing to stop people who might pass through later. From the looks of it, we have to rush over even more. Then what should we do? Step on the void? It was originally feasible, but it shouldn't be possible now. There's poison over there, and the air is also poisonous. It won't work. Wait, is the spatial attribute useful? Lin Xian said. Space might not be useful. Firstly, we don't know the distance. Secondly, we don't know what's behind those man-eating flowers. Furthermore, I'm afraid that the person who founded this place can also think of what we can think of. There are very few spatial attribute warriors in our era, but they definitely weren't too rare back then. They must have considered it. That makes sense. Don't look at spatial attribute warriors. It's too dangerous. Let's take advantage of this opportunity to have a good rest. Everyone, let's discuss our next move. Originally, these man-eating flowers were really nothing. What was difficult for them was not the poison. It was the number of these man-eating flowers, and more importantly, the defensive strength of these man-eating flowers. It was too exaggerated. An all-out attack from a heavenly venerable could only destroy one. Therefore, don't even think about having so many experts forcefully destroy all the man-eating flowers. Why don't I give it a try? Lin Xian said. Fire would always be the nemesis of plants. These man-eating flowers should not be truly immune to Kunlunzi's flames. It was just that his flames had not reached a certain level, so the effect was negligible, even if his realm was very high. You? Little brother Lin, don't be arrogant. Lin Xian said. It's fine. I'm just giving it a try. My flames are quite special. What if it works? This fire is definitely the nemesis of plants. I don't believe that there are any plants that are immune to fire. Alright. Since little brother Lin has said so, we have no other choice. Everyone escort little brother Lin forward. Alright. Then, more than a dozen heavenly venerables escorted Lin Xian forward. Lu Qingzhu frowned and looked at Lin Xian worriedly. F***CK. Show off. I want to see if you can come out alive this time. Duan Lingxiao clenched his fists tightly. Little brother Lin, this position is about the edge of the circle. Is this distance okay? A Wudong sect expert asked. Lin Xian nodded. It's about time. It ba. Little brother Lin, if it's not possible, don't force it. An eminent monk of the Shaolin Temple said. Lin Xian nodded. Then a powerful black and red flame burned on his body. Dark flame. It came from Huangxi's flame. This was definitely a very strong existence. At the same time, the dark flame had the ability to ignore defense. Therefore, Lin Xian believed that this ability should be able to cripple the man-eating flower's powerful physique, right? At the same time, it was a powerful and special flame. Domain realm. Feeling Lin Xian's aura, everyone was shocked. This? Wasn't he only a 2-star law realm a few days ago? How did he suddenly reach the domain realm? Could it be that he was in the domain realm from the beginning? It can't be that he directly advanced in just a few days, right? Everyone was shocked. Chapter 1608. To Lin Xian, it didn't really matter whether his cultivation base was exposed or not. From the looks of it, the others really didn't have the ability to solve this problem, so only Lin Xian could do it. Lin Xian only had to worry about exposing his strength, so that people like Duan Lingxiao would have an idea of his strength. However, Lin Xian felt that his cultivation base was already at the domain realm. Coupled with his attributes, combat strength, system, and other aspects, he really wasn't weak, so he didn't need to worry too much. Right now, Dongfeng Shui was the most important thing. For Dongfeng Shui, Lin Xian was willing to expose these things. There was no point in keeping them. Whoosh, black flames surged forward. Everyone looked at this scene in shock. To be honest, this was a little exaggerated, really exaggerated. These black flames are so powerful. What kind of flames are they? Yeah, they're so powerful. These black flames actually burned all those man-eating flowers to ashes? What? He's clearly only at the domain realm, so why are his flames even more powerful than Senior Kuan Lunzi's? Even Senior Kuan Lunzi's flames didn't have such a great effect, so how can a mere domain realm cultivator's flames have such an astonishing effect? That can only mean that Lin Xian's flames are extraordinary. How strange. Where did he get them? His lightning is also extraordinary, black lightning. His flames are also extraordinary, black flames, and they're both so powerful. No wonder Lin Xian's combat strength is so strong. There's a reason for this. No wonder he was able to defeat Grandmaster Wuxin at the Law Realm. But, is it really the same Grandmaster Wuxin who defeated him at the Law Realm? I have a feeling that Lin Xian was also at the Domain Realm back then. There's no way he could have gone from 2 stars of the Law Realm to 1 star of the Domain Realm in just a few days, right? That's impossible. Duan Lingxiao knew that Lin Xian must have reached the Domain Realm, because he'd exchanged for a cultivation base upgrade from the system. What did that mean? It meant that Lin Xian cared a lot about something in this tomb. Lin Xian shouldn't have appeared here, but he did. Either he had triggered a mission here, or there was something he needed here. This was inevitable. However, because he had come to Dxion's tomb, he did not hesitate to spend a large amount of system points to raise his realm, and reach the domain realm. This proved that the things here were very, very important to him. Therefore, this was a good opportunity. But why did Lin Xian come here? He really didn't understand. However, he thought that as long as he followed Lin Xian, he should be able to find out. When Duan Lingxiao saw that Lin Xian had already reached stage 1 of the domain realm, he was glad that he had spent all his remaining system points to upgrade himself to the domain realm. However, no one knew that he had reached the domain realm. This was because the quest he had triggered was to kill Lin Xian. As long as Lin Xian was dead, he would obtain a lot of system points. Not only would he be able to return to the city, but he would also obtain enough system points to exchange for other items. In any case, he had placed all his hopes on killing Lin Xian from the beginning, so it was normal that he did not leave any system points. However, in his opinion, it was abnormal for Lin Xian to do so. The powerhouses were also shocked. This Lin Xian is indeed a genius. Based on his performance so far, I'm afraid no one in the same generation in the world can catch up to him. Moreover, his experience seems to have crushed all the other geniuses. This kid is definitely not simple. This is really shocking. Yes, I never thought that we would have to rely on a junior to advance here. To be honest, it's a little embarrassing. The flames gradually dissipated, and the huge group of man-eating flowers disappeared. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This was a little too terrifying. Whoosh, then they were in an uproar. This was really a little too strong. What was the main reason? The main reason was that there was a comparison. Kuan Lunzi was basically one of the top existences in the martial arts world, but such an existence actually couldn't compare to a junior in terms of flames. This was too exaggerated. Lin Xian took a deep breath. There should be no problem, but I suggest that we wait for a while. After the flames burn out, there should be a stronger poison in the air. Lin Xian said. You're right. Everyone, rest a little more. We'll set off in a while. Yes. Time passed slowly, and Lu Qingzhu came to Lin Xian's side. When did you advance to the domain realm? Lu Qingzhu looked at Lin Xian in shock. Lin Xian said, I came across a fortuitous encounter in the past 2 days, and my cultivation base increased by so much. What else could he say? The system? That would be the end of him. How big of an opportunity did that have to be? Lin Xian smiled and said, It's all right. My luck is quite good. I'm a person who is born with good luck. So can I pursue you now? Lu Qingzhu. You rest first. Here. Then she handed Lin Xian a pill. No need. My spiritual force recovers faster. It's fine. Oh. Lu Qingzhu then put away the pill. Lin Xian looked into the distance. There must be monsters here, and they must be very strong. When the time comes, follow me closely. I have the spatial attribute. At least I can guarantee your safety. Lin Xian said to Lu Qingzhu. Why was Lin Xian so sure that there must be monsters here? It wasn't that Lin Xian's eye of insight had seen anything, nor was it that Lin Xian had seen the footprints of demonic beasts. It was just that firstly, this place was suitable for demonic beasts to live. Secondly, there were small animals here. Lin Xian had seen butterflies, mosquitoes, and the like. Since such animals existed, there must be powerful demonic beasts. This was inevitable. If small animals could live here, why couldn't monsters? Moreover, these butterflies and mosquitoes were poisonous. If the mosquitoes here bit an ordinary person, they would die in a short time. Everyone, let's go. Okay. Then everyone continued to move forward. After passing through the man-eating flower forest that had already been burned to ashes, the scene in front of them changed once again. This was the experience of every martial artist. Once the scene changed in a relatively dangerous place, it would be more dangerous. Wow. So beautiful. Seeing the scene in front of them, everyone couldn't help but exclaim. Even many men couldn't help but be stunned. Some people even took out their phones to take pictures. It was because this place was really beautiful. Chapter 1609. What was ahead? Peach Blossom Forest. It was a huge peach blossom forest. It was very, very pink and beautiful. Outside, it was basically impossible to see such a scene. Furthermore, the peach blossoms here were especially beautiful and lush. In reality, even if one had a large peach blossom forest, the level of beauty was completely incomparable to this. It was as though there was a Photoshop or filter. However, this was definitely a dangerous place. The most charming and dangerous. Everyone, don't blindly enter. Limit flow, observe from the outside. Everyone, follow me into this peach blossom forest to investigate. Alright. Then, dozens of experts walked into the peach blossom forest. Lin Xian didn't see anything special with his eye of cave spirit. Could it really be an ordinary peach blossom forest? No, no, no. It was definitely impossible. This peach blossom forest was the same as the man-eating flower forest from before. Since it existed here, there had to be a reason for its existence. And to the people of Emperor Shang's tomb, what they wanted to do was to prevent others from entering. Therefore, everything was to prevent them from entering. It was either to scare them or to kill them without being able to enter. Damn, this Emperor of Shang's tomb is much more difficult than I imagined. Lin Xian pondered slightly. This Emperor of Shang's tomb was really similar to the ruins of an expert. In modern times, there were basically no ruins of experts, but Emperor of Shang's tomb existed in that era. In that era, there were definitely ruins of experts. Therefore, this Emperor of Shang's tomb was likely a ruin of an expert. Even Lin Xian was suspecting something. He was suspecting that the location they were in was a small world. A small world, if you put it in the modern martial arts world, was simply a fantasy. But for the previous era, it should have been possible. And how did a small world form? There were two possibilities. First, it was a spirit artifact. Second, when a warrior's cultivation reached the heavenly Dao realm, they had the capital to create a pocket world that belonged to them. To experts at that level, some of them placed great importance on a pocket world, and some of them would even create a pocket world in an extremely good condition. If this was a small world, didn't that mean that there was a heavenly Dao realm existence in DX Xian's tomb? On second thought, it was quite normal. It was definitely possible for a heavenly Dao realm existence to exist in that era. Furthermore, King Zhou of Shang was remembered by others for his brutality and incompetence. But was he really incompetent to be able to ascend to the throne of an emperor during that golden age? No. He was probably an extremely powerful expert himself. In next to no time, those experts walked out. Seniors, is there any problem? Tian Guzi said. There's nothing wrong with it. Other than the poison floating in the air, I really didn't find anything else. It's just that this peach blossom forest seems a little big, and it's forbidden to fly. Flight restriction? Those people showed puzzled expressions. That's right. At the start, we wanted to step into the air and see what the situation was like. After all, we could see further from a high vantage point. But we discovered that we could only jump and not fly. There is a power here that forbids martial artists from flying. In other words, we could only follow the peach blossom forest and slowly walk in. But just because we haven't discovered any danger doesn't mean that there isn't any danger. It definitely exists. Therefore, after entering, we have to follow the people in front. If we don't want to die, it's best that we do so. Then let's enter. Why don't we let Brother Lin Xian try and see if he can release his flames to burn this peach blossom forest? Master Wuxin said at that moment. That works too. My young friend Lin Xian. Is there a problem? Lin Xian said. I'll give it a try. Then, Lin Xian took a step forward and released his powerful flames of darkness. But, this time, the flames of darkness were useless. It was as though the flames of darkness had touched water, and were completely isolated. No. Although these peach blossoms aren't immune to fire, the pollen floating in the air can isolate the flames. It's useless. Lin Xian said. Yes, that's reasonable. After all, the person who created this place isn't a fool. Since the previous ones could be resolved with flames, it's impossible here. Then let's enter. Then they all walked into the peach blossom forest. The blossoms were mesmerizing. When they walked in, they felt that these peach blossoms didn't seem particularly beautiful. Instead, no matter which direction you looked, it seemed to be in front of you. It was easy to get lost. Fortunately, the people in front could still see, so it wasn't a big deal. Lin Xian looked at Lu Qingzhu beside him. Give me your hand. Lu Qingzhu looked at Lin Xian in confusion. Lin Xian said, This peach blossom forest looks more like a maze to me. Be careful. Give me your hand. I'll hold your hand. No matter what, the two of us won't get separated. In terms of experience, Lin Xian was not inferior to these old fellows at his young age. Because of the difference in living environment, Lin Xian had been exposed to too many things in the past few years on Sky Blue Planet. On Earth, These top experts didn't have many opportunities to come into contact with these things. If this place was a ruin, then Lin Xian felt that it was quite familiar. It can't be, right? The people in front are right in front of us. It can't be that we lost them, right? Lu Qingzhu even felt that this Lin Xian was deliberately taking advantage of her. It was normal. After all, Lin Xian was an old pervert. And although Lu Qingzhu was outstanding, she lived in this era. No matter how outstanding she was, she couldn't compare to those people in Sky Blue Planet. Especially in terms of experience, he couldn't compare. But if Lu Qingzhu lived in Sky Blue Planet, then she would at least be a Han Chuxue or Ling Ying. Not to the point of losing them? Then look, how many people can you see around you? Lin Xian said. Lu Qingzhu turned her head to take a look. It seems it's not as crowded as before. They had entered with over 1,000 people. There were originally many people around, but now when you look again, you feel that it's a lot thinner. Perhaps this is the meaning of the existence of this peach blossom forest. However, it's useless even if I say it out loud, because those who should be separated will eventually be separated. Moreover, there's a ban on flying. This also means that this place is a maze. Could it be that everyone had to hold hands? That's not realistic. Give it to me. Lu Qingzhu then handed her hand to Lin Xian. Lin Xian gently pinched her cheeks, causing her to blush. Lin Xian, do you think we can survive? Lu Qingzhu had an inexplicable feeling that it might be a little difficult to even live. Chapter 16:10. Could they survive? Lin Xian pondered for a moment, and then smiled. Yes. Lu Qingzhu looked at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. She didn't know where his confidence came from. But his realm was only so high. It was true that he could fight across realms, but if he were to face a truly terrifying existence, how much would he be able to overcome? No matter how much he crossed, even the most powerful one could only fight against a celestial master, right? She even felt that there might be a higher virtual realm expert here. It wasn't just Lu Qingzhu. In fact, many people had this feeling. But then they thought about it again. If there really was a very, very powerful expert here, then why would they use these flowers and plants to restrict them and prevent them from moving forward? Lu Qingzhu really felt that this should be the most terrifying place she had ever been to. It was even more terrifying than the place where Tao Tai was. Although they didn't seem to have encountered such a terrifying existence, she had this feeling. Don't worry, I have the space attribute. No matter what, I can at least guarantee our safety. Lin Xian said. But, when we were at Tao Tai's place, your space was useless. Lu Qingzhu said. Lin Xian was embarrassed. In fact, Lin Xian didn't rely on the space attribute, but he didn't know how to tell her now. What's wrong? Little Qingzhu, are you scared? Lin Xian smirked, and asked while holding her hand. I'm a little scared, but this kind of fear is more of the fear of the unknown. I don't know why, maybe it's my illusion. I just feel that this place is very powerful and dangerous. I always feel that not many people can leave here alive. Lu Qingzhu didn't like this feeling very much. Why? Lin Xian asked. Because I don't know how to say it. I just feel that everything here, including this dense forest, is too grand. It shouldn't be something that a tomb should have. Then you can treat it as a ruin, Lin Xian said. Ruin? I've read about it in ancient books. Some of the top experts will create their own ruins. Although the ruins look small, there is actually a very exaggerated space inside. There may even be a small world in the ruins. Lin Xian nodded. Then do you think the place we're in now looks like a small world? Hearing Lin Xian's words, Lu Qingzhu's beautiful eyes lit up. I understand. She was afraid because of the unknown. But now, the place had not changed and everything she encountered had not changed. However, because of Lin Xian's sudden explanation, she realized that this place could be understood as a ruin. Then she was suddenly not afraid, because everything was no longer unknown. Thank you. Lu Qingzhu recovered instantly. Lin Xian smiled and said, You're my girlfriend. Other than ensuring your safety, of course I have to be your shelter from the wind and rain. Lu Qingzhu glanced at Lin Xian. Don't talk nonsense. Then she glanced around. It was true. After chatting for a while, the people around them became even more sparse. Lin Xian, do you realize that the people around us seem to be getting fewer and fewer? The few people behind him followed Lin Xian. Lin Xian was undoubtedly the most famous. Moreover, he had shown experience that made those top experts sigh in admiration. Those people subconsciously felt that Lin Xian was someone they could rely on. Not only are there fewer people, there is fog around us. Lin Xian glanced around. It seems to be true. Our visibility is getting closer and closer. The fog's poison is only normal. It seems that the purpose of this peach blossom forest is to trap us here and make us lose our way. As for what dangers we will encounter after we get separated, I'm not sure. But for now it's like this. Coupled with the mysterious power of the forbidden sky, it was obviously to make people lose their way here. Lin Xian, do you have a way? A girl asked. She seemed to be afraid. This feeling was even more exaggerated than Lu Qingzhu's. Lu Qingzhu was a proud daughter of heaven, but it depended on the place. After all, Earth was Earth. No matter how outstanding a person was here, they would only experience so much. A way. Lin Xian rubbed his chin and smiled. Of course. Follow me. With the cave spirit eye, no matter what you do, Lin Xian will not be lost. Lin Xian also realized that once a person got lost, they would disappear from their sight. Even their voices couldn't be heard. This might be an effect of the fog. Gather everyone who can see here and follow me. Lin Xian said. Okay. Those people hurriedly called out. Lu Qingzhu looked at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. He was so strange. It wasn't that this person was strange, but he showed everyone a kind of calm in the face of danger. It was as if there was nothing he couldn't do. So it was very strange. How old was he? If this had happened to a senior, she wouldn't have thought much of it. However, when it came to Lin Xian, even though there seemed to be many mysteries surrounding him and he was very powerful, this kind of experience, confidence, and so on, he was really too reassuring. Following by his side really made people feel at ease. Hey little Qingzhu, why are you staring at me? Is it because I'm too handsome? Lin Xian's sudden words disrupted Lu Qingzhu's thoughts. She blushed. No. Then she quickly turned her face away. Soon, more than 100 people gathered around Lin Xian. Everyone follow me. Of course, if you don't want to get separated, I suggest that you all hold hands. Lin Xian. We won't get separated, right? We only have so few people. Don't tell me we can't see? One of them said something. Up to you. Let's listen to Lin Xian. After all, the 2,000 of us have indeed been separated, a girl said. Lin Xian pulled Lu Qingzhu's hand and walked forward. Do you see it? Lin Xian said as he walked forward. What? Lu Qingzhu looked at Lin Xian in confusion. These peach trees are moving. Lu Qingzhu opened her small mouth. I don't see it. Of course, their movement doesn't mean that they are demons. It could be that some kind of force or formation is driving them to move. That's why everyone got separated so easily. It's not just because of the fog, it's mainly because these peach trees are constantly moving in an orderly manner, causing all the directions to be messed up. Furthermore, there are peach trees everywhere. Even if there were a lot of movement, we wouldn't be able to discover anything. Even the peach trees a few hundred meters ahead of us have already started moving in advance, causing us to deviate from our path and change directions as we walk in circles, Lin Xian said. Chapter 16:11. It was very difficult to discover, because these peach trees moved without any sound or movement. Furthermore, it was impossible to see the peach trees moving in front of your eyes, unless you really discovered it. I believe that some people would discover it, and the stupidest way to get out was to destroy the peach trees along the way. Although peach trees were immune to fire and could not be burned due to the pollen, they were still ordinary peach trees. If they were bombarded bit by bit, they would still be able to blast a path out. However, if Lin Xian could think of this, then the person who set up this peach blossom forest must have thought of it as well. Therefore, this peach blossom forest must be very big. Its purpose was to trap a portion of the people and slow them down. Furthermore, even if you could destroy it bit by bit, you would lose your way. What you destroyed was not the way forward. Wouldn't that be an explosion? They followed Lin Xian and walked forward for about 3 hours. After walking in this peach blossom forest for 3 hours, it was enough to see how big it was. Wow. We're out. At first, they were especially excited when they saw the peach blossom forest. It was very beautiful, but after walking for a long time, they felt like vomiting. When they walked out, there was a green forest in front of them. It was the same as before, but it made them very happy. Anyway, if they could leave this place, the flowers they hated the most in their lives would probably be peach blossoms. Lu Qingzhu looked at Lin Xian in surprise. There were clearly no other footprints in the surroundings. In other words, they were the first to walk out. Even the top experts did not come out earlier than them. And the reason why they could come out so early was all because of Lin Xian. It was as if he was very familiar with this place. It was as if the fog and peach blossom forest did not exist in his eyes. He seemed to be able to find the right path. However, Lu Qingzhu had been holding hands with Lin Xian the entire time. She did not even see Lin Xian release any power, use any spiritual weapons or talismans. He really just walked out. What the hell was going on? This person was simply too shocking. She felt that the more time she spent with him, the more mysterious he became. It was as if the frivolous appearance on the surface was a complete facade. The real Lin Xian was a powerful existence filled with confidence and great wisdom that appeared to be stupidity. Looks like no one has come out yet. Lin Xian sat there and lit a cigarette. How can we help? Lu Qingzhu asked. Without those experts, Lu Qingzhu felt that it would be very dangerous even with Lin Xian around. They needed a large number of top experts. Only by working together would they be able to go further. In other words, only then would they dare to move forward. Lin Xian also needed these people. After all, he was only at the domain realm. I need to think. Lin Xian smoked as he thought of a plan. Lin Xian had a way to deal with the fog, but even if he did, they wouldn't be able to walk out. I wonder if my law of destruction will work. Lin Xian's current realm wasn't high, and this peach blossom forest was so big. If he were to destroy the laws, Lin Xian wasn't sure if it would have much of an effect. However, this was just an ordinary peach blossom forest. This was just an ordinary fog. Thinking about it, even if it was a large area, it shouldn't be a problem, right? After all, the law of destruction and the law of creation were very exaggerated. Only you could think of it. As long as you had enough power, you could think of anything. I'll give it a try. Lin Xian took a deep breath. No matter how mysterious this peach blossom forest was, it was just ordinary peach blossom trees. So even if there were so many of them, could the law of destruction destroy countless ordinary peach blossom trees? As for the pollen, it might just be ordinary pollen with a certain effect. Actually, Lin Xian had thought of it from the beginning, but he didn't dare to do it. But now he wondered if he should give it a try. Law of destruction. A terrifying power erupted from Lin Xian's body. Shwa! In the next instant, the large peach blossom forest in front of them suddenly evaporated. This? Everyone was flabbergasted. What happened? Could it be that they had walked for so long in the illusion? Lin Xian took a deep breath. He didn't know how much of the peach blossom forest had been destroyed by the law of destruction, but it was definitely not all of it. It might not even be 1/10. In any case, Lin Xian nearly vomited blood. F***ck. How big is this peach blossom forest? Lin Xian was dumbfounded. Fortunately, he was quick-witted and didn't think of directly destroying the entire peach blossom forest in one go. He destroyed 1/12 of it, and nearly vomited blood. Otherwise, if Lin Xian directly wanted to destroy the entire peach blossom forest and release the law of destruction, he would probably be crippled. Even if he didn't die, he would be crippled. How terrifying. Lu Qingzhu's little mouth opened. What was this Lin Xian? What kind of power did he release just now? Why didn't she feel anything? But why did the peach blossom forest in front of her disappear? Clearly that was Lin Xian's doing. This? Lin Xian took a few pills and sat there to rest. Hey, you guys are out. There were quite a few people in the destroyed peach blossom forest. They ran over. Ba, could it be brother Lin Xian's doing? Master Wuxin looked at the meditating Lin Xian and bowed. This peach blossom forest is so strange. I almost couldn't walk out, but why did it suddenly disappear? Could it be an illusion? It was true. Many people inexplicably felt that it was an illusion. Otherwise, why would all the peach blossom trees disappear? Lin Xian expressed that he was very tired. Why did so many top experts need Lin Xian to carry them? However, there was nothing he could do. It wasn't that Lin Xian was a saint, but that Lin Xian knew that his realm was only at the domain realm. The maximum amount of system points that the system could give them could not reach the heavenly venerable realm. And among these experts, there were even some high-level heavenly venerable realm experts. Furthermore, there were quite a number of them. Lin Xian needed them. Lin Xian had to obtain the supreme nether glow grass. He could not afford to lose it. Helping them was helping himself. At the same time, Earth's future situation might not be good. Lin Xian did not want them to die. At the very least, they would be a powerful fighting force for Earth in the future. If something happened to Earth, although they were only a small portion of the martial artists, they would still be a very important fighting force. Lin Xian would leave. He needed them to protect Earth. At the same time, it could be considered as protecting Lin Xian's beloved on Earth. Lin Xian took a deep breath and released the law of destruction again. Whoa, it really seems like an illusion. Look, a large peach blossom forest disappeared over there. It's true. F***CK. Look here. Suddenly, someone discovered something. Footprints? These are the footprints of demonic beasts. They swallowed a mouthful of saliva and suddenly felt that their surroundings had become eerie. Chapter 16:12. Lin Xian had already guessed that there were demonic beasts here, so when he saw the footprints, he was not very surprised. However, the others were really afraid. Demonic beasts. They did not see many demonic beasts in the first place. The demonic beasts that they saw were mostly in hibernation for a long time, and had just woken up. But here, this was a place that had always existed. With this environment, do you think that the demonic beasts would be in hibernation? That was obviously not the case. Demonic beasts that were not in hibernation had lived here for 3,000 to 4,000 years. How much would the demonic beasts have grown? Although the cultivation of demonic beasts was much more difficult than that of humans, at the same time, the lifespan of demonic beasts was not something that humans could reach. If this was a place where the strong preyed on the weak, then there must be weak demonic beasts. Similarly, there must be strong demonic beasts. If it was just that the person who created DX Science Tomb had deliberately set it up here, and only put a few demonic beasts in, then they were either dead or had grown into extremely powerful existences. However, Lin Xian felt that it might be the former. Otherwise, why would those things in front stop them from entering? Wouldn't it be fine to just let them in to die? What was the point of doing so? It's over, it's over. The footprints of this demonic beast should belong to a feline demonic beast, right? It looks like it. This kind of demonic beast is usually very fast and very aggressive. We have to let all the other seniors come over before we can move forward. Otherwise, we won't be able to move forward at all. That's simply courting death. I want to go back. I wanted to, but someone has already gone back, but he sent news that the passage on the wall where we left that space has been closed. It seems like we can't go back. We can only brace ourselves and move forward. Lu Qingzhu walked over and looked at the footprints. This footprint was bigger than 10 of her breasts. It's poisonous. Lu Qingzhu glanced at the soil in the footprints. It was clearly stained with poison. Lin Xian's law of destruction was released again. It could be said that it had almost destroyed the peach blossom forest. It would be easy for those people to find it. Which one of you can release some kind of fire or lightning power to attract the experts in the peach blossom forest over? Lin Xian said as he walked to Lu Qingzhu's side. He squatted down and reached out to touch the sand. Be careful. Lin Xian sniffed. Extremely poisonous. If an Empyrean realm is poisoned, they should die suddenly within a short time. Lin Xian then used a power to disperse the poison on his hand. Ah, so strong? Doesn't that mean that if the seniors who came with us were to be poisoned, they would also die in a short period of time? Those people revealed terrified expressions. Without a doubt, Lin Xian's previous performance made them believe in Lin Xian's words. They believed that Lin Xian was quite capable. At the very least, they felt that his words were more credible and did not treat him as a lunatic. Lin Xian said, "Listen carefully. I said that it won't be detoxified, but if it can be detoxified, it naturally won't be a big problem. This poison, ordinary detoxification pills can't cure it, but I believe that those seniors should have something up their sleeves. This poison shouldn't be a big problem for now." Lin Xian then looked into the distance. He was not worried about the Fey beast. He was worried about what was deeper. This Fey beast should be at the Empyrean realm. If it was, then there should be someone at the Great Void realm here. These experts should have thought of this possibility. They might even have thought of the possibility of a heavenly Dao realm. Of course, the chances of a heavenly Dao realm being here were not high. Even if it was in hibernation, after so many years, it would still affect one's realm. However, a Great Void realm expert would definitely have thought of it. Perhaps their realm was not high enough, but after so many years, Earth had never lacked top-grade spirit artifacts. Those that had been passed down since ancient times were basically found in the various large sections. They would definitely bring top-grade spirit artifacts with them. With this in mind, Lin Xian was no longer that flustered. If it really didn't work, he still had a trump card. Soon, the experts arrived one after another. What's going on? Why did the peach blossom forest disappear? Was there some mechanism? Kuan Lunzi asked. I think it's Lin Xian. Someone whispered. Lin Xian. Some of the experts' gazes locked onto Lin Xian once again. If it's really this kid, then he's a little too strong. They said that Lin Xian was strong, but it did not necessarily mean that he was strong in terms of strength. Instead, it meant that he was strong in terms of experience. In any case, none of them could do anything about it. How did this kid manage to resolve all of them? However, if the peach blossom forest had not suddenly disappeared, they would probably have to stay in there for a while longer. Are these the footprints of demonic beasts? They also noticed it. Yes, there are more in the distance. They're from other demonic beasts. Clearly, there are many demonic beasts ahead. They nodded. Everyone take a break. There should be a tough battle waiting for us next. Then Kuan Lunzi looked at the others and said, Everyone get your spirit artifacts, talismans and other things ready at any time. Yes, no problem. After resting for a while, Zhang Juyang of Wudong Mountain glanced at everyone and said, Everyone follow us. Be careful. It's best to take out your spirit artifacts at any time. Yes. Then they took out their spirit artifacts one after another. The group that had already gathered together set off again. Soon Roar, a gigantic demonic beast, was blocking their path. Obviously, they had entered the demonic beast's territory and caused it to be extremely dissatisfied. And this demonic beast might have greater confidence in its own strength. Or did it have a reason to not leave this place? In any case, in the face of so many people, this demonic beast actually dared to stand out. To be honest, this scene was not right. There must be a reason. Is this armored dragon crocodile? Seeing this demonic beast, the experts all revealed vigilant expressions. Armored dragon crocodile. That's right. At first glance, it looked like a crocodile. However, this crocodile was especially big. It was estimated to be 10 meters long, including its tail. Moreover, its body was extremely thick. The most memorable thing about this armored dragon crocodile was its bloody mouth. The scales on its body were like armor that covered every part of its body. Moreover, there were sharp thorns on the armor. The thickest part was not its limbs, but its tail. Chapter 16:13. At first glance, the armored crocodile's tail gave people the feeling that, if you were swept by this tail, you would either be smashed to death, with all your ribs broken and your internal organs ruptured, or your body would be pierced by the spikes on the tail. This tail was also the armored crocodile's main combat tool. Everyone be careful. This armored crocodile is very strong. Spread out. Don't come over if your cultivation hasn't reached the heavenly venerable realm. Zhang Juyang shouted, and then a group of powerhouses walked over together. I didn't expect that the first monster we encountered here would be this armored crocodile. Yeah, it said that the armored crocodile is a T2 level monster with high defense in addition to T1 level monsters like the black tortoise. Yes, of course, it's just a rumor, but it's definitely not groundless. Looking at the appearance of this armored crocodile, you can tell how strong its defense is. In this world, there was a saying that in the world of martial arts, only speed was unbreakable. That was right. Fast speed was really something that was difficult to break. In addition to speed, another thing that was difficult to break was defense, especially when defense and power coexisted. This armored crocodile was like that, and its speed was not slow either. It could be said that this was a more versatile monster. Its cultivation might only be around 5 or 6 stars of the heavenly venerable realm, but you could see that so many powerhouses had taken action. It was enough to see what level this armored crocodile was in their eyes. It was strong, definitely strong. Start the battle. Whoosh! In the next moment, that group of powerhouses took action. This was also the first time Lin Xian had seen such a scene since he came to Earth, including those times in the past. It was even the first time he saw a scene of a battle between heavenly venerable realm warriors on Earth. It was quite powerful. However, compared to the warriors of the same level on Sky Blue Planet, it was indeed a little worse. Even these old guys could not compare to the old guys of the same level on Sky Blue Planet. After all, it was a matter of living environment. Armored crocodile, a monster that has gone extinct. Its defense is extremely strong, and its weakness is its stomach. Lu Qingzhu looked at the battle in the distance and murmured, "But it's difficult to hit the stomach." Lin Xian said, "Well, this demonic beast is similar to a crocodile, but it is very strong. In addition to having great strength, it also has a strong defensive ability. It stands on all 4 limbs and is as immovable as a mountain. Unless it is suppressed by the realm, it is very difficult to cause any harm to it." Boom. Kuan Lunzi and the other experts kept bombarding the armored dragon crocodile with their powerful strength. The armored dragon crocodile was forced to retreat. It was normal for it to be defeated. After all, the armored dragon crocodile's realm wasn't that high. Kuan Lunzi and the others' realms were even higher than it, and they had more people. However, the armored crocodile did not suffer any damage. Simply put, it was difficult for the armored draconic crocodile to kill those experts. It was also difficult for those experts to cause substantial damage to the armored draconic crocodile. No, we have to attack its stomach. Is there any way to send this armored crocodile into the air? It's a little difficult. The armored crocodile is as immovable as a mountain, unless the difference in strength is very great. King hate this kind of defensive type of demonic beast the most. You say you don't dare to fight, but you dare to hide. What's the point? Everyone, whose law or domain would you like to try? I'll do it. Then an old man rushed over. Domain sleep. Roar. Then the armored dragon crocodile roared angrily and shattered his domain power. Roar. With another roar, a powerful shockwave erupted from the armored dragon crocodile's surroundings and rushed out in all directions. Everyone was a little helpless against this armored dragon crocodile, with extremely strong defense. However, the powerful force released by the armored dragon crocodile could not easily hurt these experts, unless it was its terrifying tail. However, dodging this tail attack was still very easy. If they couldn't even dodge this tail attack, then they would be too weak. Mountain-toppling spell. Whoosh. Suddenly, Qingyan Mountain's Taoist priest Qingshan flashed above the armored dragon crocodile. A talisman appeared in his hand and directly stuck on the armored dragon crocodile's armor. Open. Chua. Following that, the power of the talisman erupted. The armored dragon crocodile was sent flying by an invisible force, and its body flipped over. Good spell. When they saw this scene, all the experts, including the people behind them, exclaimed in admiration. This spell is interesting. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. The mountain-toppling spell can even flip over a tall mountain. It's a relatively useless talisman. I didn't expect it to have a miraculous effect at this time. Lu Qingzhu praised. Therefore, although these experts are all celestial venerables and might encounter great void stage experts, They are still from various sects and factions. Their individual strength may be average, but when combined, they are indeed very strong. That's why, although these experts are all celestial venerables and might encounter great void stage experts, they are still existences from various sects and factions. Their individual strength may be average, but when combined together, they are indeed very strong. Lin Xian said. Why do you sound like an unfathomable senior? Lu Qingzhu looked at Lin Xian. Huh? Am I? Lin Xian scratched his head. You're thinking too much. I'm only 23. No, I might not even be 23. Lu Qingzhu was shocked. He was a person who was younger than him, but what he displayed was something that he could never hope to achieve. The armored dragon crocodile was flipped over. The strength of those experts was still strong, so they easily dealt with it. To be honest, the armored dragon crocodile's armor was really hard. Then, those experts began to divide the treasures of the armored dragon crocodile. It was nothing more than the demon core, and the most important armor. The defensive power of this armor was simply too strong. If they brought it back to forge and refine something, the effect would definitely be explosive. Everyone hurry up and leave this place. It's not good to stay here for long. A powerful demonic beast had died. The smell of its blood would definitely attract other demonic beasts. Let's go. Go go go. Lu Qingzhu looked at Lin Xian. What's wrong? No. No one cares why this demonic beast dares to come out and stop us when it sees so many of us coming here? Lin Xian was dumbfounded. It's a spiritual object of heaven and earth. Lu Qingzhu said. Lin Xian then opened his eye of cave spirit. That's true. Then Lin Xian quickly walked over. No one else cared. There was actually a stalk of yin and yang grass in the weeds. This was an extinct treasure. It's a pity that it's not the supreme nether glowing grass. Lin Xian sighed. This terrain should be quite suitable for the growth of the supreme nether glowing grass. Let's go. Lin Xian put away the yin and yang grass, and then hurriedly followed the large group in front of them. There were more things waiting for them. Chapter 16-14. Time slowly passed. They encountered many monsters along the way, but they were all scared but not in danger. This was because they only encountered 1 or 2 monsters. They were generally in the heavenly venerable realm, but they were even easier to deal with than the armored dragon crocodile from before. The sky darkened. This was a small world. The black and white was enough to explain it. So far, they seemed to be going very smoothly and there were no casualties. Duan Lingxiao had been paying attention to Lin Xian. He really wanted to kill this Lin Xian, but it was difficult to find an opportunity to do so. Moreover, even if he made a move now, he shouldn't be Lin Xian's opponent. He could only find an opportunity here, and use the things here to get rid of Lin Xian. Of course, the premise was that he had to have the opportunity. Especially when he saw Lin Xian flirting with a beautiful woman like Lu Qingzhu. He couldn't stand it. He really couldn't stand Lin Xian having so many beautiful girls around him. Duan Lingxiao wasn't bad either. He was even more handsome than this Lin Xian, but why couldn't he compare to him in all aspects? Why did girls like him? It's already late at night. Everyone, stop moving and rest. We'll continue tomorrow morning. Zhang Jiuyang of Wudong Mountain shouted to the people around him. Let's continue our journey tomorrow morning. It's too dark here at night, and demonic beasts are highly skilled in camouflage. It's best that we don't continue our journey in this environment. Taking advantage of the fact that the poison here isn't strong enough to be neutralized by the detoxification pill. And there won't be any abnormalities, let's rest here. It just so happens that there aren't many trees here, and it's a spacious area where we can see each other. Let's rest here, all of you rest. Be careful not to use any lights or flames and be quiet. Kuan Lunzi said. Animals were afraid of fire. Normally, if you lit a bonfire in a dense forest at night, it would scare away many animals, including insects. But for demonic beasts, it was a different story. Instead, they would be attracted by the light of your fire. Everyone sat down to rest. Little Qingzhu, are you hungry? Lin Xian asked. Lu Qingzhu shook her head. I'm already in this realm. I won't be hungry. Then do you want to eat something? No, why? Do you want to eat hot pot? Lin Xian asked. Lu Qingzhu, don't tell me you still have a pot with you? Lin Xian then stretched out his hand, and a pot appeared. Then there was a hot pot base. Of course, Lin Xian used the law of creation to create it. Lu Qingzhu, you can't bring hot pot ingredients, can you? Then fat beef, fat sheep, tripe lettuce, prawns, potatoes, and so on were all placed on the table. Lu Qingzhu, is this person? It's quite cold here at night. Wouldn't it be great to eat hot pot to warm up and then rest? Lin Xian started a fire and the aroma of the hot pot wafted out. This. Many people who saw this scene with their own eyes the same way full of admiration. Do you have fungus? Black fungus. Lin Xian then took out a plate. Yes. Lu. How could he have everything? Master Wuxin, come and eat with us. Lin Xian greeted Master Wuxin. Ba, this poor monk won't be eating. The two of you are really in a leisurely mood. Lin Xian smiled and said, that's right. It's time to relax. That's true. After eating the hot pot, Lin Xian handed Lu Qingzhu a can of Coke, then whoosh, a double bed was placed in that area. Everyone. Damn. Is it poisonous? Lin Xian took out a blanket and laid it on the bed. Then he crawled under the blanket and wrapped himself up. Lu Qingzhu stood there, dumbfounded. What did this person put in his interspatial ring? Look at the others. At most, they put a few sets of clothes and a blanket. This person put a bed in it? Of course, it was made by Lin Xian, but the others thought he took it out from his interspatial ring. Little Qingzhu rest. Lin Xian patted the bed on the other side. Lu Qingzhu hurriedly shook her head. Sai, you must rest comfortably during this break. There'll probably be a fierce battle tomorrow. How about this? I'll make another blanket for you. Then Lin Xian made another blanket. In the end, Lu Qingzhu still went in. The people around were envious and hateful. Was he King bullying her? Time passed slowly. Everything quieted down. Only the strange cries of small animals could be heard. Basically, everyone was sitting there, cultivating, meditating, and recuperating. Only Lin Xian and Lu Qingzhu were lying on the bed like their fathers. It was very quiet. They could even hear the breathing of the people next to them. At this moment, Zhang Jiuyang's voice broke the silence. Everyone wake up. Everyone opened their eyes. Lin Xian and Lu Qingzhu also sat up. Senior Zhang, what's going on? Someone asked. The surrounding poison has increased by quite a bit. There might be a situation. Be careful. Hearing this, everyone instantly woke up and became alert. This was no small matter. Lin Xian had activated his Eye of Cave Spirit. F***CK. It wasn't just a situation. It was a F***King big deal. What was the situation with the Eye of Cave Spirit? They were surrounded by poison. This was normal. It was nothing because they were surrounded by poison from the moment they entered. However, if the poison was to be graded, the poison around them was level 1. About 100 meters away, the poison around them was level 2. Perhaps 200 meters away, the poison was level 3. They seemed to be surrounded by a very powerful poison. Furthermore, the poison was slowly seeping towards them. There was something wrong with this scene. It was as if something was controlling the poison. At this moment, several experts walked over from afar. The situation isn't good. I don't know what's going on, but the surrounding poison is increasing. We're surrounded by a stronger poison, and it's seeping towards us. I estimate that in a few minutes, the poison here will double. It's not a big deal even if it doubles. The antidote is about the same. However, this scene is too strange. We might be targeted. Then what do we do now? Should we break through the area where the poison is stronger? Someone asked. It's best not to. It's dangerous. I even suspect that the poison might be released by a monster. If it is, it's too dangerous. Everyone, continue to stay here and wait for dawn. Everyone, take out your talismans. All right. The power of the talismans added a protective barrier around them. This barrier also prevented the poison from seeping in. Chapter 16:15. Everyone felt at ease when this protective shield was raised. However, after this incident, None of them were in the mood to rest. Lin Xian quietly reached out and hugged Lu Qingzhu's slender waist. Lu Qingzhu quickly took his hand away and walked down from the bed. Senior, if we don't go out, will we become turtles in a jar? Lu Qingzhu asked worriedly. Those experts muttered. I'm not sure. We don't know anything about this place. However, staying here should be the safest thing to do. After all, we have so many people. No matter what we do, we have to consider if it's suitable for everyone to move together. At this moment, someone shouted, "Everyone look over there. Is that a demonic beast?" Everyone's gazes shifted over. In the poisonous fog outside, they seemed to see a red beam of light in the middle of the night. This red light gave them the feeling that it was the blood-red eye of a demonic beast. Lin Xian used his eye of spiritual insight to take a closer look. Others couldn't see it clearly, but Lin Xian could. It's a scorpion, Lin Xian said. Scorpion? Demonic beast? Lin Xian nodded. Yes. Its body is about 5 or 6 meters long. Its entire body is yellow in color. The spikes on its back are releasing poisonous gas. This poisonous gas should be released by this scorpion. Moreover, there should be more than one of them. We might be surrounded by a group of scorpion demonic beasts. Everyone was secretly shocked. They weren't shocked by Lin Xian's words, but how could this Lin Xian see it clearly? None of the top experts, including themselves, were able to see clearly. All they could see was the blood-red eye in the darkness, and nothing else. And yet, Lin Xian was still able to tell what color the demonic beast was. Even in such a situation? Don't you think this is ridiculous? Earth-colored? 5 or 6 meters long. Does this demonic beast have circular patterns on its body? Lin Xian nodded. Yes. It's a desert scorpion. Kuan Lunzi said. Desert scorpion, isn't this a demonic beast from the desert? Why would it appear in the dense forest? The reason is very simple. Once upon a time, someone went to the desert and caught these demonic beasts, and they lived here. This also shows that the construction of this place was indeed purposeful. An expert said. The desert scorpion is a group of demonic beasts. It is very fast, has very strong defense, and is very poisonous. Moreover, the desert scorpion cooperates very well. It is even said that if the desert scorpion cooperates in battle, it can even condense some kind of formation, which can greatly increase their combat strength. Zhang Zhuyang said. Normally, there would be 200 to 300 desert venomous scorpions in a group. Their general realm is definitely not too high. This poison should be released by the desert venomous scorpions. Their goal is to poison all of us so that they can have a good meal. But don't forget, the desert scorpions have lived in this kind of environment for so many years. Even if their realm isn't high, it's definitely not low. Everyone prepare for battle. Kuan Lunzi summoned his horsetail whisk. If it's the desert venomous scorpions, then their poison has a corrosive effect on the defensive power we released. The defensive boundary released by this talisman will be corroded in a short while, and a battle is inevitable. These desert venomous scorpions might have condensed a formation. For us now, it's no longer about dodging, but about taking the initiative to attack. We can't let these desert venomous scorpions condense some kind of power unscrupulously, Kuan Lunzi said. Everyone, get ready. Me, Senior Kuan Lunzi, Peak Master Uni, and Master Korong will each lead some martial artists to deal with the desert venomous scorpions in 4 directions. You have 1 minute to quickly find your own team, and we'll get ready to fight, Zhang Zhuyang said. Lin Xian then stood behind Master Korong with Lu Qingzhu. It should be safer to follow a Shaolin Temple's expert. Besides, there was also Master Wuxin, so Lin Xian could cooperate with him to fight. Cancel the talisman's power, Zhang Zhuyang yelled. Yes. Then the boundary around them disappeared. Whoosh! The poison instantly spread to their surroundings. Do it! Whoosh whoosh whoosh. After being here for so long, they had finally fought a large-scale battle. There were about 2,000 people in all 4 directions. On average, there were 500 martial artists in each direction. No matter how many desert venomous scorpions there were, they would not outnumber them, right? Lin Xian held a spiritual weapon in his hand. He passed through the poisonous fog, and saw the desert venomous scorpions. They were not much different from what he had described earlier. They looked very terrifying and fierce, especially the scorpion tail that was raised a few meters in the air. The poisonous stinger looked really scary. Thunderstrike. Whoosh! Lin Xian directly slashed at one of the desert venomous scorpions with his sword. The other 300 to 400 people also directly joined the battle. Boom! Lin Xian's thunder was dodged by the desert venomous scorpion. What the F***ck? Lin Xian was stunned. How could this big and silly desert venomous scorpion be so fast? It was so fast that Lin Xian felt that it had the power of the wind attribute. His attack actually missed? Whoosh! Then the terrifying scorpion tail directly stabbed at Lin Xian. Lin Xian's figure flashed. The scorpion tail also missed. 3-star domain realm. Damn, the realm of the demonic beasts here is really high. Lin Xian cursed in his heart. Lin Xian had the law of destruction. However, the law of destruction was very effective against units of a lower cultivation level than him. Once the opponent's cultivation level was higher than his, or even the same cultivation level, the effect would be greatly reduced. Therefore, Lin Xian could not directly use the law of destruction to kill the opponent, because this was a matter of life and death. But, although the effect of Lin Xian's law of destruction was very small, Lin Xian was facing a demonic beast that was only 2 stars higher than him. Really, in Lin Xian's eyes, this was simply too small a threshold. Space Lock. Lin Xian directly released a space lock. The effect of his law of destruction might not be great, but he could casually release a space lock. Although Lin Xian's realm was lower than this desert venomous scorpion, Lin Xian's attribute strength was too high. Even if his realm was lower, he could definitely easily trap this desert venomous scorpion. After trapping it, space explosion. Boom! This was the most brainless but also the most effective method. The dust dispersed, the space exploded, and the desert venomous scorpion stood there unharmed. Lin Xian. What the F***ck? Many others were just as dumbfounded as Lin Xian. Chapter 16:16. Lin Xian's jaw dropped. Wasn't its defense too strong? What was the main reason? The main reason was that the spatial blast was an omnidirectional blast. It didn't matter if the weakness was on the back, the head, or the stomach. In any case, the spatial blast would be able to hit the target. It would always be able to hit the target's weak points. However, the spatial blast was completely undamaged. Defensive power? Lin Xian saw that the desert scorpion's body was surrounded by an earth-colored light. This should be the beast's demon skill. It made sense. A beast of this type must have a strong defense. It was reasonable for its defensive demon skill to be able to block his space blast. But, I wanted to end the battle easily. You're making things difficult for me. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed slightly. Dark fire. Shua. Lin Xian unleashed the power of his dark flames and charged forward. The desert scorpion wanted to use its strong defense to block Lin Xian's flame. But Shua. Following that, the desert scorpion melted. That was right. It was easily melted, which stunned many people in the surroundings. The powerful space attribute couldn't do anything to the desert scorpion. How could the fire attribute kill it instantly? Wasn't this illogical? That's right. When Lin Xian defeated Master Wuxin, he mentioned that his flame seemed to have the ability to ignore defenses. At that time, it didn't seem very obvious. Now that I look at it, holy sh**t, it's invincible. Yet it wasn't intuitive at first, but now that I have a comparison, it's really intuitive. It's so King exaggerated. Now I believe that Lin Xian really relied on his own strength to win against Master Wuxin. And his realm at that time might really not have been high. This flame is really awesome. The bonus is too high. So strong. If Lin Xian's realm is higher, with this flame damn. Ruthless. This was especially so when they saw other martial artists who were at the same level as Lin Xian. When they compared themselves to Lin Xian in battle, they were shocked. It was like heaven and earth. Whoosh! Lin Xian's flames twined around a group of desert scorpions, and then incinerated them. The speed of this slaughter wasn't any slower than those Empyrean realm powerhouses. In fact, it was even faster. This was King ridiculous. After the battle, Lu Qingzhu turned her head to look at Lin Xian. Was this person roasting a scorpion? How could his fire be so terrifying? It was King ridiculous. This group of desert venomous scorpions wasn't much of a threat to them, because their average cultivation level was too low. Although there was a large group, but the difference in cultivation level was right there. Moreover, even if the difference in cultivation level wasn't that great, with their numbers, they weren't afraid at all. This kid is really strong. That's right. Lin Xian's contribution is undeniable that we were able to reach this position so easily. In fact, half of it was due to him. Really, how many years has it been since I last saw such a genius cultivator? The last one was Xianyuan Qingtian, right? To be honest, I feel that Xianyuan Qingtian is not as good as him. The gap is quite big. If they are in the same realm, there is no comparison at all. He has too many powerful things. In a short time, the desert venomous scorpions were all eliminated by everyone. Plop. But right at this time, martial artists fell down one after another. What's going on? Those people revealed shocked expressions. It's poison. The poison condensed by the desert venomous scorpions has already seeped into this position. Everyone has inhaled the poison of the desert venomous scorpions. Warriors with slightly lower cultivation levels can't withstand it anymore. Quick, take out higher-level detoxification pills and give them to them. Okay. Then, those powerhouses took out a large number of higher-level detoxification pills and gave them to them. Everyone take it. Come and get the detoxification pills. Yes. Everyone walked over. They knew how many people would come this time, so basically all the major forces brought all the detoxification pills they could get their hands on. During this period of time, they had done their best to refine a large number of detoxification pills in anticipation of this situation. After all, it was normal for a place like this to have a large amount of poison, so at least these people would take enough. It seems that these desert venomous scorpions didn't appear to kill us, but to condense this poison to make us retreat. That's right. That's right. Moreover, it looks like these desert scorpions are here specially. They even look like they're controlled or domesticated. They exist here for their mission. From the looks of it, coupled with the various signs from before, I can judge that the people of DX Science Tomb don't want anyone to enter. Does this mean that they're not that strong? Maybe. Otherwise, they wouldn't have stopped us in such a way. They are afraid that someone will enter. Then, we have to go in even more. Everyone take a rest. It seems that we are about to leave this poisonous forest. To be honest, if it weren't for these people's foresight, or if it weren't for the fact that they hadn't encountered such a situation for too many years, they would have been extremely cautious and prepared for everything several times over. Otherwise, even with so many people, they would have been stopped by this poison. However, Lin Xian felt that this was it. Wasn't this a little too weak? One had to know that this was DX Science Tomb, the tomb of King Zhou of Shang. Didn't it feel a little too weak? Or was it just a small skirmish in this place? However, it seemed that they were about to leave. Or was this poison actually not that simple? But now, it seemed that these people were no longer a problem. What are you thinking about? Lu Qingzhu walked over and asked. I'm thinking that this poison isn't that simple. This is the tomb of King Zhou of Shang, and it seems that we are about to leave. Isn't this a little too simple? Lin Xian said. But it's actually not that simple. You've helped too much, Lu Qingzhu said. No, even if I didn't help, at least there wouldn't be any losses. I think it's too easy. Aren't you too sensitive? Perhaps the real danger hasn't arrived yet? Lu Qingzhu said. That's true. Lin Xian nodded. Perhaps it was because he was too sensitive, or perhaps the real danger hadn't arrived yet. He might have gotten used to the more powerful dangers on planet Sky Blue, but Lin Xian wasn't used to the slightly easier environment here. After resting for a while, it was still night. However, this place was full of poison, so everyone had to leave. Everyone go forward. Everyone rushed forward and walked out of the dense forest. Chapter 16-17. In front of them was a barren land. It was so barren that it was scary. They could not see the end of it, and there was only sand and stone everywhere. There were no signs of life at all. This place is so big and barren. Yeah, but the air is so fresh. It's not that the air is fresh. It's because we've already walked out of the poisonous forest. That's why the air here feels so fresh. But this place can't be a simple barren land, right? Zhang Jiuyang and the rest were also looking around cautiously. At present, it looked like a simple barren land, as if there was nothing wrong with it, but they would not relax their vigilance. Seniors, there seems to be a pit over there. Duan Lingxiao said as he stood on a higher ground and took a look. Is that so? Then Zhang Jiuyang leaped up and stood in midair to look. There is indeed a pit, and it's huge. There seems to be more than one. Everyone, follow closely. Don't fall behind. Let's go over and take a look. Be prepared for battle. Yes. It was still very late, but their eyesight was not that simple. It was still relatively easy for them to see. When they walked over, they were shocked by the scene in front of them. Oh my God! Not only are there Qin terracotta soldiers, there are also Shang terracotta soldiers. There are so many. It's so majestic, this. Take a picture, take a picture. Many people could not help but take pictures. This scene was indeed majestic. Even Lin Xian was shocked. That's right. These pits were filled with terracotta soldiers. It was very neat, and there were all kinds of soldiers with all kinds of weapons in their hands. There were even cavalrymen. Actually, there was nothing majestic about the terracotta soldiers, but the majestic thing here was the number. At first glance, all one could see were terracotta soldiers. This is probably more than 100,000 terracotta soldiers, right? Whoosh! Kuan Lunzi descended from the sky and said, not only that, there are at least 800,000, maybe even 1,000,000. Over there, and over there. Everything is made of terracotta soldiers. That's too much work. So far, we've only discovered a few 100,000 Qin terracotta soldiers. Most of them were only discovered after we went deeper into understanding the terracotta soldiers. Yet the number of terracotta soldiers here is already in the millions. Furthermore, this is only pit number 1. Who knows, there might be pits number 2 and 3. Who knows, this number might only be 1/5 or 1/10. So King Zhou of Shang is a true tyrant. That makes sense. He spent so much manpower to build these terracotta soldiers just to make his tomb look more majestic. Many people must have died. Everyone, please be careful and don't wander too far. We will rest outside the terracotta army pit and continue our journey tomorrow morning. Yes. Those experts also sat down cross-legged and began to recover their strength and spirit energy. If there was any movement, they would be the first to notice it. Hey, let's go take a photo. Help me take 2 photos. I'll go take a group photo. A girl said excitedly. All right, be careful not to damage the terracotta soldiers. So what if it's damaged? There are so many of them. No. This is different. If it's damaged in their territory, it would be disrespectful. Furthermore, these are all historical relics in the future. All right then. Someone went to take a photo. With someone taking the lead, more and more people began to take photos. Although they were all martial artists, who wouldn't want to share their photos with their friends? Especially with such a majestic scene? Some of them had already taken countless photos, but they just couldn't post it. There was no internet, but when they went out they would post all the photos on their friends. Damn, when those experts, martial artists, friends and young masters saw it, they would all believe that they had gone to King Xian's tomb. Secondly, they would be able to show off. How great would that be? As for Lin Xian, he had a kind of, how should he put it, fear towards the terracotta soldiers. It wasn't fear, but because he had encountered them before. Yes, it was at Bingling Yue's place. At that time, he, Miao Xiaomiao, and a few others from the Gale mercenary group went there to investigate. After that, they went in and found the terracotta soldiers, but at that time, Lin Xian was almost scared out of his wits. Why? Lin Xian looked into the eyes of the terracotta soldiers. Suddenly, he saw a pair of eyes looking at him in the dark. Wasn't that scary? Lin Xian was almost scared to death. Damn, little Qingzhu, do you want to sleep? Lin Xian looked at Lu Qingzhu with a smile. No, it's almost dawn. I'll rest and prepare for the battle, Lu Qingzhu said indifferently. Ah! At this time, a girl's scream directly broke the silence of the night. What's going on? Everyone looked over at the same time, and some of them even took out their own spiritual weapons. It seemed like nothing was wrong here, but everyone was on high alert. The sudden scream made their hearts tremble. His eyes are moving, his eyes are moving. A girl was paralyzed on the ground as she pointed at a terracotta soldier in front of her, and said in fear, "What? F***CK? This time, Lin Xian was dumbfounded. It can't be, right? It can't be that the scene from before is happening again, right? Wanna be careful." Suddenly, there was a loud shout. A girl standing in front of a terracotta soldier was attracted by the commotion. She didn't even realize that the terracotta soldier behind her had slowly raised the sword in its hand. This scene was seen by several people. Ah! A scream followed by a spurt of blood. The girl was directly killed by the sword and fell into a pool of blood. In an instant, fear filled the air. Everyone used their fastest speed to gather around the group of experts. They stared at the countless terracotta soldiers below in fear. This? Ka. The countless terracotta soldiers slowly moved. Gulp. Everyone swallowed a mouthful of saliva. I see eyes inside. There are eyes looking at me. Woo. A girl in the law realm was scared to tears. That wasn't an ordinary girl. She was in the law realm. One must know that Lu Qingzhu was also in the law realm. This girl was definitely not simple. She was scared to tears. It was enough to see how big of a shadow it would leave on her in the future. The main thing was that Lin Xian understood this fear. At that time, Lin Xian was scared to death. He was also a man. He was really caught off guard and unimaginable. Inside. Could it be? There are living people inside. Gulp. Thinking of this, everyone suddenly felt goosebumps on their backs. More than 1 million living people were sealed here. Chapter 16:18. Lin Xian took a deep breath. This is going to be troublesome. Let's not talk about what's inside. Even if we had so many ordinary people with swords, spears, swords, and halberds, we wouldn't be able to hold them off. They seem to be very powerful, but how are we going to deal with so many of them? Could this be the army of King Zhou of Shang? Gulp. Could it be that King Zhou of Shang made his army into terracotta soldiers and sealed them here? What the F***CK? Isn't this too cruel? My impression of King Zhou of Shang is that he's a tyrant, but I really didn't expect him to be this cruel. Isn't this a little too exaggerated? Then, this might be more than 1 million soldiers, right? But he can't possibly seal his entire army here, can he? Isn't that too unrealistic? Isn't this a little too cruel? But, do you think it's possible that King Zhou of Shang sealed his army here, waiting for them to wake up at some point in the future? Then he'll lead his army to rule the world? Hearing this, some people sucked in a breath of cold air. This seemed to be a very possible thing. Who were these people in the past? This was too scary. Seniors, what should we do now? Someone shouted. The experts found it difficult to make a decision. If they continued to move forward, they might have to break through this army. They didn't even know what was going on with this army, but they were sure that there were some who were powerful. If they destroyed this army, their physical strength and spiritual energy would be greatly depleted. At this time, if a group of powerful existences came, they might not be able to resist, but at that time they might not be able to resist. This was a possibility. But if they didn't destroy this army, what could they do? Go back. If they went back, they would have come for nothing. They would have come for nothing. Although they had seen this scene, it wasn't what they wanted to see. All the conclusions they came to after this were just guesses. Then what if they came back again? That wasn't impossible, but if they were to make another trip, would there be any changes? Everyone, what do you think? Kuan Lunzi said. This opinion is really hard to give. To be honest, we don't know what's going on with these people. Are they dead? Or have they awakened from their slumber? Or have they become puppets? It's hard to say. If they do wake up, then they are innocent people. Maybe they don't want to continue fighting for King Zhou of Shang. It would be a pity to kill them. But, No matter what we do, even if we don't have a lot of people, our strength is enough to wipe out the army on a large scale. If we don't continue and leave, then this trip will have completely lost its meaning. It will be a complete failure. I think that the previous poison and the demonic beasts did not stop us. This is just a small army. They will not stop us. I suggest that we kill them. If one day they go out and spread, and this number of people enters the city, the consequences will be unimaginable. Our stable society will be thrown into chaos in an instant, and it will cause social panic. But if we are done fighting, our spiritual energy will be exhausted, and our physical strength will be exhausted. At this time, experts or demonic beasts will appear. What should we do? There are so many things in front of us that are blocking us, because they don't want us to come in. Maybe they are afraid of us coming in. Maybe they are afraid of us. Maybe we could have won the battle, but because of these things in front of us, we will lose due to lack of physical strength. This is also possible. The experts were in a dilemma. Your Excellency Lunzi, please give us an opinion. It is difficult for us to agree on this, but we need someone to agree on this. Everyone looked at Lunzi. Lunzi looked ahead and said, "These soldiers should be dead. They are moving now, but no one is making any sound. There are no cries of pain or shouts. Their movements are very mechanical. I can't feel any life force. Therefore, I conclude that these people are no longer alive. No matter what, the worst result is that we cannot let these existences enter the city. We must kill them all. No matter what the purpose is, we must kill them all." Amitba, corpse energy. There is corpse energy. A powerful existence of the Shaolin Temple said. What? Corpse energy? That's right. They were all corpses, and in a certain sense, they had already turned into corpses. In this situation, there was even a possibility that the corpses would turn into living humans. Simply put, those who were bitten or scratched by them could also become puppets in this state. It is very dangerous. We must not let them enter the city. Otherwise, there might be a biohazard crisis on Earth. This King Zhou of Shang is very calculative. Everyone's eyes narrowed. Everything was very clear now. Kill. Everyone listen to my orders. Kill. Do not get hurt. If martial artists are not confident in their own strength, they will release their power to attack from a distance. These probably do not have much cultivation, and will be easy to kill. It is just that there are more of them. Remember to maintain your spiritual power and physical strength in order to deal with the unknown dangers that may appear later. Martial artists who lack spirit recovery pills, come here and get your pills. Lunzi shouted, and then placed a large pile of jade bottles in front of them. Many other experts also placed their jade bottles there. Go. Yes. Whoosh, then the group of experts rushed over. Prairie fire. A terrifying sea of fire erupted. A single martial skill could easily burn an army of over 1,000 to death. It looked like a lot. It was simple, but this was the power of a heavenly venerable. Moreover, this kind of power consumed a lot of spiritual power. There might be millions of soldiers here, enough for them to fight. Let's go. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Many experts continued to rush forward. Lin Xian pondered for a moment. He had to go in. Moreover, the yin energy here was heavier. This meant that the supreme nether glowing grass could easily grow here. This was because this was an environment suitable for the supreme nether glowing grass. Therefore, Lin Xian even felt that he might be able to see the supreme nether glowing grass after he went in. However, if these experts were not there, Lin Xian would be in a difficult position if something happened to them. After all, his realm was so high now. Chapter 16-19. What could he do? Whoosh, Lu Qingzhu rushed over. Damn, this is just an ordinary army. There's no need to kill a chicken with a butcher's knife. I think there must be a way for us to destroy them easily, right? Lin Xian looked at the people in front of him who were bombarding the army with lightning, fire, wind, and water bubbles. Wait. Damn. How could he have forgotten one thing? These were ordinary soldiers, not martial artists. Even if they were martial artists, they would still have ways to deal with them before reaching a certain realm. Hot weapons. How could he forget about firearms? There were 2,000 of them, and each of them was holding a machine gun. Wasn't it 10,000 times better than constantly releasing martial arts and exhausting spiritual power and physical strength? The main thing was that these were all trash. Bullets were easy to deal with. And Lin Xian had this ability. Because law of creation. Shua, Lin Xian was holding a machine gun in his hands. With Lin Xian's Grand Dominion realm cultivation, it was a piece of cake for him to create such a firearm. The spiritual power Lin Xian used to create 100 machine guns were not as much as Lin Xian used to create a blade of grass. Because no matter what, a blade of grass was still alive. And this kind of thing that had no life and no spiritual energy was the simplest thing to deal with. Everyone, come to me to get your guns. Lin Xian shouted. Ha! Everyone was stunned. Da-da-da-da. Then Lin Xian held the machine gun and fired at the army. Everyone. That's right, everyone was stunned. F*CK. Did this guy have to be so wild? No, why did he bring this kind of thing? Who was this guy? He brought a bed and a gun? This? Brother, do you have more? Didn't I say? Come to me to get your guns. Shua, Lin Xian then released his law of creation. Hundreds of guns instantly appeared in front of him. Damn. Everyone's eyes widened. So many? Is your F*King family involved in the arms trade? Or are you going to store the F*King goods here first? They thought that it was the stock in Lin Xian's spatial ring, but they had obviously forgotten one thing. That was, how big was the space in his spatial ring? How big was the space in his spatial ring? Their best spatial ring only had 10 cubic meters of space, right? F*CK. Isn't this F*King 10,000 times better than stupidly using spiritual power to fight? Brother, give me one. I haven't F*King played with a gun before. Everyone, be careful. Don't hurt your own people. If you don't know how to play, try to control the recoil first. Don't worry. What realm are we all at? This little bit of recoil is nothing. Brother Lin Xian, do you have a sniper rifle? I F*King love sniping when I play games. Come on, let's have some fun. Give me a sniper rifle too. Although there are many of them, most of them are equipped with submachine guns. We can only shoot at close range. We'll use the sniper rifle to shoot at the distant ones. Continuous sniper rifle? No. I don't feel like using a continuous sniper rifle. I want a bolt sniper rifle. Lin Xian's mouth twitched. Da-da-da-da, then. Suppressive fire. This? Zhang Juyang, Kunlunzi, and the other powerhouses who were fighting suddenly saw this scene and were dumbfounded. They quickly flashed over. What's going on? Their mouths were wide open. Seniors, come over and take a gun. Lin Xian greeted them. This? Yours? Lin Xian nodded. So many? Seeing that everyone had a gun, they swallowed a mouthful of saliva. What kind of deity was this? How could this be? How could this be? Good. Well done, well done. Zhang Juyang looked at Lin Xian excitedly. No one would have thought that there would be someone who could bring thousands of guns and so many bullets here. Most importantly, he was a martial artist. Now there were people who suspected that Lin Xian was definitely a firearms dealer. But this was not important. What was the most important thing? Don't forget. What they were most worried about was that if they fought with all their might, they would be exhausted and their spiritual power would be depleted. If more powerhouses came at this time, they would be finished. However, with a gun in each hand, they did not even need to expend spiritual power or physical strength to finish off this army easily. Although there were many of them, how could this army withstand the firepower of 2,000 people who were all equipped with cold weapons? Even if they had to keep retreating and widen the distance between them, it would only take time to finish them off. Moreover, they did not have to retreat. Although there were many of them and their speed was fast, but what if they had heavy weapons? For example, they saw the rocket launcher on Lin Xian's shoulder. Gulp. Those people swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Was this a joke? Boom. A rocket launcher blasted over, and then directly exploded. Instantly it was cleared. F*CK. Ruthless. This Lin Xian is really a father figure. F*CK. Why do I feel like we've been carried away by his thigh? Too ruthless. This is too exaggerated. Duan Lingzhao's eyes narrowed slightly. Lin Xian. Lin Xian again. He was in the limelight again. Damn it. Why didn't he think of it? The law of creation. He Duan Lingzhao also had one. He had exchanged it from the system store. But now even if he took it out, the limelight would be Lin Xian's. Instead, it would expose the fact that he had the law of creation to Lin Xian. Damn it. Lu Qingzhu's mouth was slightly open as she stood beside Lin Xian. This person, was he a monster? Wait a minute, is the Mu group still a junkie? This was too exaggerated. Genius. He was really a genius. Instead, for a moment, everyone had forgotten the simplest and most crude thing. So many people had forgotten. Brother, do you still have this rocket launcher? Give me one. Lin Xian threw him a rocket launcher. F***ck. This is exciting. It was originally a situation where one was more dispirited and worried. But because of Lin Xian's move, it instantly made everyone interested, excited, and motivated. One by one, they even bloomed with smiles. It was like F***king playing a game. In such a situation, it was unrealistic to point a gun at people. Even if you were a soldier, in this era, you would not have the opportunity to fight with the enemy. Even if you did, you would be afraid because the enemy also had a gun. But in this place, although there were many opponents, they were all armed with weapons. As long as they did not get close, they were invincible. This was simply a bunch of impudent people. It was too satisfying. What a pity. It would be even more exciting if I had an unlimited ammo plug-in. It wouldn't be so exciting if I had to change bullets after a while. Lin Xian coughed dryly and lit a cigarette. Did no one realize that he had unlimited ammo? Chapter 1620. It took a long time. After all, the size of the army was very exaggerated. However, it was not tiring at all. It was F***king exciting. This was ridiculous. There were even people who were shooting with guns in one hand and recording with their phones in the other. They were also saying something, preparing to post it on their WeChat moments. To be honest, I really have to thank this Lin Xian. If it weren't for this Lin Xian, we would have been in trouble. It's true. It's even difficult for us to reach this place. Who is this kid? Who on earth did he follow to cultivate? It's simply beyond our understanding. Could it be that the person he's following is an expert from the past? I mean, maybe it's the Qin dynasty or an expert from an even older era. Otherwise, it's impossible to explain some of his knowledge that surpasses ours. After a long time, the army was basically wiped out. Everyone felt that it was exaggerated. Say, it's fine if you brought so many guns, but why did you bring so many bullets? F***ck. Lin Xian, you're too cool. It's true. It feels like you came here with a map open. The things you brought are just right for use. Don't tell me you knew what you would encounter here? Ha ha ha. No way, right? Lin Xian, don't tell me you really knew? One person's unintentional words made everyone puzzled. It can't be, right? What if it was? Lin Xian smiled and said, "You must be joking. How could I know the situation here in advance? It's all luck. If I knew, wouldn't it mean that I have something to do with this Emperor Xian's tomb? Could it be that I'm someone who walked out of here? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha." Many people laughed when they heard Lin Xian's joke. Everyone, take a break. I think we'll be able to see the real people later. Get ready. Zhang Zhuyang said. Yes. At this moment, 5 colored lights suddenly rose from the darkness in the distance. What's going on? Everyone was on high alert. 5 colored divine light, could this be? Whoosh. A figure wrapped in light landed in front of them. A man. You're courting death. Previously, I gave you a chance to give up halfway and not move forward. But now you actually dare to come here. You don't want to live, so don't blame me. That person glared angrily at everyone. Kong Xian. Zhang Zhuyang's pupils suddenly shrank. Who is Kong Xian? The general under King Zhou of Shang is very powerful. Of course, these are all rumors. It is said that Kong Xian's power is the 5 colored divine light, which is extremely powerful. But those are all myths and legends. But we should know that many myths and legends are actually true. I didn't expect this place to actually exist. Kong Xian. If he is here, then King Zhou of Shang must be here as well. No, that was not the most important thing. Since they had met King Zhou's general, Kong Xian, and he was still alive, it meant that the other experts were still alive. They've all awakened. Or they are on the verge of awakening. The fact that the experts here are able to awaken means that Emperor Qin and the other experts are most likely also. It's a mess. It was a mess. I'm afraid this is going to be a complete mess. When they saw Kong Xian, it also told everyone the answer that they wanted to confirm. This time, the earth was really going to be in chaos. Some people were still hoping that they would get lucky. What if they had thought of it? Now, it seemed that they were not thinking too much. It was the truth. Humph. If you want to die, then I'll eliminate all of you first. Whoosh! In the distance, a loud sound was heard. Then, a figure jumped and landed beside Kong Xian, smashing a huge hole in the ground. The figure slowly stood up. It was an extremely tall and sturdy giant. In his hand was a staff that looked like Sun Wukong's sea-stabilizing needle. One end was water, and the other was fire. If that is Kong Xian, then this person is Yuan Hong? What? The general under King Zhou of Shang, the white ape demon, Yuan Hong? The weapon in his hand should be a spirit weapon, the fire-water staff. There's no mistake. It's Yuan Hong. Hiss! Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. A group of juniors. How dare you call us by our names? Destroying our king's million-strong army is unforgivable. The two of them narrowed their eyes, and their auras erupted. Everyone retreated. That's right, we are indeed juniors. Kuan Lunzi's body was surrounded by a powerful force. But, we are also the forces that protect the current generation. This is not the era before you. It's absolutely impossible to treat a million-strong army so cruelly, and let them continue to unify the continent. Kuan Lunzi narrowed his eyes and said, "Ha ha ha." Yuan Hong laughed. As long as our king is here, the Shang dynasty will still have the final say in this world. Zhang Zhuyang held his sword in his hand. In our current era, we no longer need you to appear, nor do we need you to exist. You should only exist in history and textbooks, not in reality. Just like many years later, all of us will only exist in history. This is the path that you and we should take. Nonsense. Ba, you too can't be thinking that with your current cultivation, you can't be a match for so many of us, right? Master Ku Wu of the Shaolin Temple walked out and said lightly. They could sense that these two people's cultivation was only at the beginning of the great virtual realm. Although they were all at the heavenly venerable realm, and none of them were at the great virtual realm, their numbers were obvious. Furthermore, they had many top-grade spirit artifacts from ancient times. These spirit artifacts were left for them to use. The Shaolin Temple's people were here for a very important mission. They guessed that there would be great virtual realm experts, and once these Shaolin Temple experts activated the Golden Bell Shield and Iron Skin technique, they could still defend against the power of the great virtual realm. Therefore, they felt that even if these two were at the great virtual realm, there was nothing to be afraid of. At the very least, there was a high chance, and it was not to say that there was no chance at all. Clearly, these two people's previous cultivation was definitely not limited to this. They were probably at the heavenly Tao realm. That was certain. This was because of the legends about them. What kind of people were their opponents? Jiang Zia, Yang Jian, Neza, and other such existences were only at the great virtual realm? That was impossible. They had to be at the heavenly Tao. It was just that they did not know where Neza and the others were. Were they dead or in slumber? If they were to become the guardians of Earth, would it be good news? Chapter 16:21. Yuan Hong and Kong Xian's auras erupted. Although we have been asleep for a long time and our cultivation has plummeted, we are still not something that a group of law domain masters and heavenly venerables can compare to. Moreover, you have already experienced such a tiring battle. I'm afraid that your stamina is already exhausted, right? They sneered. Puffed. Hearing this, some people could not help but laugh subconsciously. It was not because they were not afraid, but because they found it too funny. Did they not see the battle just now? Or did they see it but thought that they were tired? Could it be that they thought that the bullets fired from firearms had killed so many people and consumed their spiritual energy? Oh right, thinking about it, it was normal. How could they have technology in their era? How could they know what guns and rocket launchers were? Could it be that they thought that the rocket launchers were used to bombard someone's powerful martial arts? It seemed to make sense. It was just that they absolutely could not imagine that the world would become like this a few years later. Some unimaginable things would appear. Then the two of you might be disappointed because dealing with your million-strong army is really not that tiring. Everyone, let's fight side by side. Zhang Zhuyang shouted, and then took the lead to rush forward. Ba, I haven't fought for so many years. It's time to stretch my muscles and bones. Several Shaolin Temple powerhouses also rushed over with golden light. Fortunately, there were only 2 of them. This was also good news. Another good news was that they were not Heavenly Dao. They probably did not have Heavenly Dao either. If they were Heavenly Dao, then there was really nothing they could do. However, since they had sent these 2 people, their forces were probably not too strong at the moment. The others could only watch the battle from afar. These were Great Void Realm experts. Other than Heavenly Venerables who could fight, the other Domain Realm experts would be sent to their deaths? It was useless even if they went over. They would not be able to cause any harm to them. Instead, they would be killed in one move. Fortunately, this large faction had sent out a large number of experts. The number of Heavenly Venerables added up to several hundred people. Lin Xian did not make a move either. Do you think we will win? Lu Qingzhu stood beside Lin Xian. I will. Although these 2 people were in the Great Void Realm, they were not in the upper levels of the Great Void Realm. Facing the attacks of so many celestial venerables, they did not have a good time. The most important thing was that these experts all had top-notch spiritual weapons from their forces. What about so many experts? The 8 immortals each have their own unique abilities. No matter what, their innumerable abilities will definitely not let these 2 have an easy time. Lin Xian said. The most important thing isn't them, but the people behind them. Lin Xian frowned. Clearly, they were about to reach their final destination. This destination. Has King Zhou woken up? Judging from the current situation, it seemed that he had not woken up yet. Otherwise, King Zhou's cultivation should be higher than theirs, and he should have come out to deal with them. However, there were only 2 people here. Were they looking down on them, or were they really unable to send any more experts? Lin Xian felt that it was possible. However, the very good news was that these 2 people were very strong generals under King Zhou of Shang. These very strong generals only had the cultivation of the early stage of the Great Void Realm, which meant that no matter how strong they were, the others would not be that strong, as long as there were no experts that they could not resist. So what if they were in the Great Void Realm? Under the various methods and top-notch divine weapons of hundreds of celestial venerables, they could not do anything. Lu Qingzhu frowned as she watched the battle. The Great Void Realm is so strong. They are very strong. After all, there is a gap of a large realm. Lin Xian looked ahead. Even though the 2 of them were facing so many celestial venerables, these celestial venerables were not having an easy time. However, the strength you see is more because they belong to the top of the Great Void Realm. The top I am talking about is not the realm, but the combat power. For example, they are 1 star of the Great Void Realm, but their combat power is probably more than enough to defeat 3 or 4 stars of the Great Void Realm. Lin Xian. Yes, I know. Lu Qingzhu nodded. She wanted to help, but she could not. Shua. Lin Xian released the law of creation, and the most powerful sniper rifle, Barrett, appeared in his hand. What are you doing? Lu Qingzhu was stunned for a moment. Harass. There are only 2 targets, so I still have to do something. Harass them a little, even if it distracts them a little, will give those seniors more opportunities. It will be easier, Lin Xian said. Although this Barrett was powerful, even an atomic bomb would not be able to destroy a Great Void Realm expert. But the law of creation. Lin Xian used almost all of his spiritual force to create a few bullets. That's right. You can imagine how special these bullets are. Then Lin Xian took a pill to recover his spiritual force while loading the bullets. Even if the effect was not great, Lin Xian knew that it would be effective. The bullets created by the law of creation could penetrate the defensive spiritual force. Of course, after all, Lin Xian was now in the domain realm. It might not be able to penetrate the spiritual force of the Great Void Realm, but it would definitely have a little effect. Click, Lin Xian pulled the barrel of the gun. Lu Qingzhu looked at the side with a dumbfounded expression. Then Lin Xian aimed at Kong Xian. At a glance, he could see that the burly Yuan Hong was definitely stronger, and his defense must be stronger, but this Kong Xian should be slightly weaker. Although it was constantly flickering, Lin Xian's eye of spiritual insight was still very useful. After aiming for about 30 seconds, Lin Xian pulled the trigger. Boom! A loud sound was heard, and then a bullet directly shot out. Kong Xian, who was in the middle of the battle, naturally felt the existence of this bullet. Although he did not know what this thing was, he subconsciously wanted to dodge. However, space. Lin Xian released the power of space, and the bullet suddenly disappeared on the way. Then the bullet appeared behind Kong Xian. Bang! It was as if an expert's martial skill directly bombarded his back, and Kong Xian's figure was directly sent flying and then smashed to the ground. Everyone. F***CK. This Barrett's power is so great? No, it's impossible. Unless I'm crazy. That's a Great Void Realm expert. Even if this Barrett has a great impact, it shouldn't be able to send a Great Void Realm expert flying, right? Am I crazy? At the same time, the experts finally found an opportunity. Venerable Zhang. Zhang Juyang flashed over. Universe Taiji 8 trigrams destruction. Chapter 1622. Under Lin Xian's move, Kong Xian really did not expect it. Even if he noticed Lin Xian's bullet, he still did not expect the power of space to instantly shift the position of the bullet, appearing behind him and directly hitting him. The power of this attack was not great. Of course, it could not easily penetrate his defensive spiritual power, and then explode into his body. However, it was not small either. After all, Kong Xian was directly sent flying and smashed into the ground. Previously, because his realm was too high, even if he faced so many powerhouses, to be honest, he was not attacked at all. But now, not only was he attacked, but he also lost the ability to fight and dodge at that moment. Therefore, Zhang Juyang directly used a big move on him. One could see an 8 trigram spinning in the air, and then directly exploding with the power of black and white yin and yang, hitting the ground. Everyone was not careless. Even if this move hit, there were still many powerhouses who flashed over and released their powerful power to bombard Kong Xian. Is he dead? Everyone showed an expectant expression. On the other side, many powerhouses were fighting with Yuan Hong. They did not have the time to pay attention to the situation here. When the dust settled, a huge deep pit appeared. Those powerhouses stood in the void and looked at the situation in the deep pit. Kong Xian was lying there motionless, covered in blood. Obviously, he was either dead or seriously injured. After all, this was modern society. Many people knew that there was no need to talk too much nonsense when killing others. Moreover, it was best to kill them. Otherwise, in those anime, television dramas and movies, when you felt that the person was dead and was very confident, suddenly the other party attacked you and then turned the tables. Were there not many such scenes? So several powerhouses forcibly released their powerful power to ensure that Kong Xian was gone. Only then did they let out a long sigh of relief, and then joined the battle with Yuan Hong. He's dead. Many people were secretly shocked. This is the virtuality realm? Why is it so weak? No. It's not that the Great Void Realm is weak. It's that these seniors are too strong. Although these seniors haven't reached the Great Void Realm, they can unleash a very strong combat strength. They can directly and steadily hit a warrior who doesn't have a defensive attribute. It's still quite fatal. Of course, the most important thing is still Lin Xian's attack. Without Lin Xian's attack, these seniors probably wouldn't have been able to find this opportunity. Lin Xian was becoming more and more godly in the eyes of these people. Lu Qingzhu glanced at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. At this moment, Lin Xian raised his barret and fired a bullet, aiming at Yuan Hong in the distance. Yuan Hong knew that something had happened to Kong Xian, but he didn't know if he was dead or not. At this moment he was still very angry. Roar. An angry roar was heard, and a powerful white light erupted from its body. When the light dissipated, a giant white ape stood there with the fire and water staff in its hand, like a war god. A group of dregs who don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. If this sovereign was at his previous cultivation, just a wisp of his aura would have killed you all. Shua. A sword flew over, but it was blocked by Yuan Hong. At the same time, a figure flashed behind him, catching the sword and standing there. But it's a pity that you're not at your previous realm. Even if you transform into your original body, you're only at the early stage of the Great Void Realm. Go. Whoosh. Roar. Lin Xian aimed. In fact, there was no need to aim. Lin Xian just needed to use space control after shooting. Bang. A shot was fired. Yuan Hong was blocking the attacks of hundreds of people. Suddenly he felt a force rushing at him. It disappeared and then reappeared behind him. Roar. He roared, holding the fire and water staff in his hand, and swept it behind him. The powerful bullet was directly swept away and landed in the distance. It was like a missile had exploded there. But the fact that he had blocked Lin Xian's bullet meant that the other experts had found a flaw in his defense. All kinds of power bombarded him like a storm. Roar. He let out a roar that shook the heavens and earth. This roar was a cry of pain. Even if his defense was strong, even if he was at the great virtual realm, he could not withstand the bombardment of such power, and the power of the divine weapon. Although it was not fatal, and it seemed like it was just an external injury, but he felt very uncomfortable. The battle continued. Lin Xian found an opportunity to shoot another shot. He was blocked by Yuan Hong once again, and then those experts found another opportunity to bombard him indiscriminately. After that, Lin Xian shot another shot, and Yuan Hong blocked it again. The other experts found another opportunity. Ugh. This Yuan Hong's mentality seemed to be a little problematic. These people were not very strong. Even if their realms were not bad, they had powerful spiritual weapons in their hands, and they had all kinds of abilities. However, for Yi Shiwen, who had an extremely strong defense, it was actually just a little bit of torture. If he continued to fight, he could still find many opportunities to eliminate these people one by one. Moreover, it was not easy for them to hurt him or attack him. However, there was such a person. He was as annoying as a mosquito, firing a shot every once in a while. Previously, Kong Xian's accident was because of that thing. Yuan Hong did not dare not block it, but every time he blocked it, he would be hit by a group of experts. It was not fatal, nor was it a serious injury. It was just an external injury. But after repeating this 3 times, he really could not stand it anymore. He was as annoying as a mosquito. Die for this sovereign. Ugh. Yuan Hong's body exploded with a powerful force, shaking off the experts around him. Then he roared angrily and rushed toward Lin Xian, who was like a mosquito in his eyes. He was anxious. Lin Xian, be careful. The experts shouted. Lin Xian's lips curled up slightly. The people around Lin Xian quickly ran away. Whoosh. Boom. Yuan Hong's powerful force bombarded Lin Xian, but Lin Xian easily used the space attribute and disappeared on the spot. Facing an opponent who did not have space and was not fast, space was simply a nightmare. Lin Xian appeared in the air and aimed. Bang. A shot was fired. Boom. It directly hit Yuan Hong's back, and Yuan Hong fell to the ground in an instant. He felt so King wronged. Ugh. His defense was not just for show. With another roar, he jumped dozens of meters. His jumping ability was amazing. Holding the fire water staff with both hands, he smashed it toward Lin Xian. Then Lin Xian easily disappeared on the spot and reappeared on the ground. He reloaded and fired again. This feeling was really great. The experts felt that if they were Yuan Hong, they would really explode with anger. Chapter 16:23. The most infuriating thing was, This Yuan Hong had a powerful demonic skill, but after it was released, because there were too many experts, it led to the collective release of power being able to easily block it. Yuan Hong's body was hit and fell from the sky. Good chance. The experts also realized that Lin Xian had the spatial attribute, so he was fine. Then they began to focus on Yuan Hong. Lu Qingzhu stood there and looked at Lin Xian. How despicable. Although he was one of them, she felt that he was despicable. But it was effective. Lin Xian landed on the ground and sighed. That's it. Was this the temperament of the experts from thousands of years ago? Perhaps they had slept for so long that they lost their minds. Sword of Immortals vanquish villains, heaven and earth split. Above the void lightning flashed, and the shadow of a giant sword appeared and slashed down. The ground trembled, but then everything seemed to return to calm. When the dust settled, Yuan Hong was lying there, his breathing extremely weak. Phew. It's finally over. Those experts were also quite tired. The virtuous realm was indeed terrifying. Although they did not use all their trump cards, it was not easy to fight. Well, from the looks of it, this should be the final destination we're looking for. Many of them probably haven't woken up yet. Otherwise, it wouldn't be just these two who came out to fight us. And the good news is that these two are capable generals under King Zhou of Shang. Their realms are only so. No matter what, the others' realms can't be much higher. That's right, that's about it. Coupled with the methods they use to stop us from moving forward, they really don't have much ability. They just want to stall for time. Perhaps in a few days or a few months, they will all wake up. But fortunately we came at this time. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Even if we came, we would be courting death. With so many armies and experts, Earth is in danger. There are so many powerful existences in history. How many of them will wake up? Even the legendary Yu the Great, Yin Emperor and their descendants, and even the ancient Pangu, Fuxi and Nuwa. Do they really exist? Legend has it that Nuwa created humans. Are we really created by Nuwa? What realm is that? Even the heavenly Tao realm can't say that they created us, right? Could there be a realm above the heavenly Tao realm? There should be. After all, the heavenly Tao isn't a god. It makes sense that there are gods above the heavenly Tao. How could existences like Nuwa be gods? Perhaps he's no longer in this plane. The experts discussed animatedly. Don't worry about that for now. Let's go and see if that Yuan Hong is dead. If not, we'll finish him off quickly. Yes. Then a few experts went over and finished off Yuan Hong. Now he was completely relieved. Let's rest. Even if we know that time is of the essence, there may still be danger waiting for us ahead. We have to face it in a better state. Yes. Those experts nodded in agreement. Ba. Master Ku Wu of the Shaolin Temple walked in front of Lin Xian and bowed. Thank you, Benefactor Lin Xian. Lin Xian said. Master, there's no need to thank me. I didn't do anything. If not for Benefactor Lin Xian, I'm afraid that we would have exhausted our strength in the battle against the million-strong army. Against these two powerful Great Void Realm experts, we can't stop for even a moment. We will definitely suffer great losses. Lin Xian said. We're all doing this for Earth. This is what we should do. Well said. Zhang Zhuyang walked over and looked at Lin Xian. If not for the fact that you don't need it, I would really want to take you in as my disciple. This person was too outstanding. Senior, you flatter me. Everyone, take a rest first. We still have to rely on you seniors. Okay. Suddenly, Zhang Zhuyang's expression changed. He spat out a mouthful of black blood as his figure staggered backwards. Almost at the same time was everyone else. It was really everyone. What's going on? Cough cough. I've been poisoned. An expert clutched his chest. How can this be? When was I poisoned? Why didn't I notice anything when I was poisoned? Only until the poison acted up? Many people quickly sat down and began to meditate on the spot to recuperate. Lin Xian frowned as he watched everyone sit down. However, Lin Xian and Lu Qingzhu were the only ones standing there unscathed. Lu Qingzhu was dumbfounded. Lin Xian? You're not poisoned? Lin Xian frowned. Qingzhu, you're fine? Lu Qingzhu did not know what to say. Why was she fine? I was poisoned too, but I might have detoxified the poison. Lin Xian said. What? Everyone has taken your own antidote pills, but Qingzhu and I have taken my own antidote pills. Lin Xian said. Cough cough cough, your detoxification pill can detoxify the poison? I refined it myself. The formula is different from ordinary detoxification pills. Even a more advanced detoxification pill might not be as effective as mine, Lin Xian said. How were we poisoned? Those people were puzzled. The poison in the air could indeed be detoxified by the detoxification pill. Everyone was poisoned. It could only be said that they had experienced it along the way. Desert scorpions. Lin Xian suddenly said. He knew something wasn't right. Those desert scorpions seemed to be domesticated and controlled. Their goal seemed to be purely to release the poison there. Because Lin Xian might have taken the detoxification pill to detoxify the poison, Lin Xian could not sense that the poison was not something that ordinary detoxification pills could detoxify. Moreover, it was latent. Everyone absorbed the poison at the same time, so the poison acted up at the same time. At that time, Lin Xian felt that those desert scorpions appeared to be there to stop everyone. However, it was obvious that those desert scorpions did not have the ability to stop them. They were too weak. It turned out that there was another reason. Do you still have the detoxification pill? Lin Xian nodded. I do have it, but it's definitely not enough for so many people. The poison's toxicity is not too strong, but it's definitely not that easy to detoxify. If that's the case, we won't be able to continue, Zhang Zhuyang said. We can only fail. Let's go back first. After we go back, prepare for the next time. Or let the others gather as fast as possible, and make another trip here. We can't delay any longer. We definitely won't be able to continue moving forward. Lin Xian said. Then I'll send everyone near the entrance. All right. Sorry for the trouble. Lin Xian shook his head. Then Lin Xian released the space and sent 2,000 people out. The rest of the way depended on them. Lin Xian stood there. Sigh. He sighed. Then he still had to walk on his own. Chapter 1624. Lin Xian had no other choice. He had to go in. Even if these powerhouses could no longer enter, Lin Xian could not stop. He felt that the supreme nether glowing grass was very close. It was right in front of him. Moreover, Lin Xian had no reason to retreat. He still had a trump card. On the other side. Where's Lin Xian? Those experts were sent to a location by Lin Xian. This location wasn't far from where they had entered. Although the entrance was closed, with so many of them, it wouldn't be a problem to forcefully destroy the closed area. However, when they turned their heads to look, where was Lin Xian? Did he not come? They thought that Lin Xian had released the space and came with them. Lu Qingzhu's pupils constricted slightly. He should not have come here. However, Lin Xian had inexplicably come to DXIan's tomb. His reason for coming to DXIan's tomb was definitely different from theirs. He had his own reasons. She did not know what they were, but now he had even sent everyone over and left himself there? Even if everyone knew this, but they were powerless now. It was impossible for them to go back. Duan Lingxiao frowned. What was the meaning of this? What was going on? Why did Lin Xian stay there? Could it be that there was indeed a treasure here? No. It should be. This must be a very important mission that Lin Xian triggered. However, to be honest, he really did not have Lin Xian's ability. He was also poisoned now. Although he wanted to kill Lin Xian and interrupt his mission, the most important thing was still his own life. He only prayed for one thing now, and that was that Lin Xian died in DXIan's tomb. Even if he was not the one who killed Lin Xian, as long as Lin Xian died, his mission would be considered completed. Master Wuxin. Lu Qingzhu looked at him. Ba. What's the matter, Miss Lu? Master Wuxin, please send me back to where I was just now. Lu Qingzhu said. This, Master Wuxin said. Miss Lu, Brother Lin must have his reasons for staying there. If Miss Lu goes there, I'm afraid you'll become a burden to him. Lu Qingzhu shook her head and said. I can help him. Although Master Wuxin didn't know Lu Qingzhu very well, he knew that she wasn't the kind of woman who couldn't tell right from wrong. All right then. Thinking about it, if Brother Lin didn't want her to go over, he also had the space attribute and could send Lu Qingzhu back. Then Master Wuxin released his spatial power and sent Lu Qingzhu to her previous position. Lin Xian was just about to walk forward when a light flashed beside him. Lu Qingzhu appeared there. The F***CK? Lin Xian looked at her in confusion. Big sister, what are you doing? Lu Qingzhu's beautiful eyes stared at Lin Xian. What are you doing here? Me. I'm here to find out the truth of this place. I'm here for the sake of humanity. Nonsense. How could Lu Qingzhu not understand? It's true. Although Lin Xian was looking for the supreme glowing nethergrass, if he had the ability, he would really eliminate the danger here because he would be leaving in the future. There were only 2 months left. If he could do something, he would definitely do it. Lu Qingzhu didn't believe it. This was definitely not Lin Xian's main purpose. No, what are you doing here? Are you here to drag me down? I'll send you back. Lin Xian was convinced. I can help you, Lu Qingzhu said. You can help me? Stop fooling around. Your realm isn't as high as mine, and you don't have the space attribute. How can you help me? Lu Qingzhu bit her lip and said, I can help you anyway. Don't worry, I have the ability to protect myself. I don't need you to protect me. Lin Xian glanced at Lu Qingzhu again. She wasn't the kind of woman who didn't know how to behave. Lin Xian also knew that she wouldn't ruin herself for the sake of some so-called friendship. The key was that she didn't want to drag him down, so Lu Qingzhu should really have the ability to do so. You don't have any problems, right? Well, I'm fine. I mean, you may have some kind of ability, but if you activate it, will it hurt you? Don't worry, I'm fine. I can do it alone, Lin Xian said. It's okay, don't worry, Lu Qingzhu said. Well, since you said so, I won't say anything. Lin Xian nodded. Then the two of them looked forward. Then can you tell me now, what are you doing here? Lu Qingzhu asked. I say, why are you asking so many questions? Lin Xian glanced at Lu Qingzhu. Don't you know that women are all gossips? Lin Xian said with a smile. But you're not an ordinary woman. But I'm also a woman. Lin Xian didn't know what to do. Little Qingzhu, you took the risk to come with me. Do you care about me? Can't bear to leave me? Do you like me? If you do, just say it. You don't have to hide it. Don't change the subject. Lu Qingzhu said. Lin Xian shrugged and said, I'm here for Dongfang Shui. She's here? What are you thinking? Something happened to her. There are herbs here. Lu Qingzhu opened her mouth, but she didn't ask the question. Yes. She nodded. So you can go back. I really don't need your help. Don't worry, I'm just going in to take a look. Lu Qingzhu said. I want to go in too, but I'm not going to help you. I want to see what's going on inside. I'm doing this from the perspective of a cultivator from Earth. And I have the ability to protect myself. Okay. Lin Xian didn't chat with Lu Qingzhu anymore, and the two of them walked in that direction. As they walked, the originally endless barren land suddenly became smaller, and they could only walk forward. As they walked, they found that there was only a passage as big as the ancient tomb. Then they walked to the end. F***CK. Lin Xian couldn't help but open his mouth when he saw the scene in front of him. The previous scene was already shocking enough. Even with so many terracotta soldiers, the scene in front of him was still so exaggerated. But what was different from before was that the previous place was in the open. This was a space so big that it was unimaginable, as if it was underground. In a huge space, there was no sky or stars above. It was an underground space hundreds of meters high. This space was so big that you couldn't see the end of it. This place was filled with terracotta soldiers. It was probably no less than the previous place. Lin Xian really felt that it would be a bit troublesome to deal with this, mainly because there were too many of them. How do we do it? Lu Qingzhu asked. In any case, following Lin Xian, she listened to everything Lin Xian said. Lin Xian gave her too much security. Lin Xian opened his eye of cave spirit. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.